Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Heroes CCL presented by Wisdom. My name's Bahamut, joined by Grubby on this fantastic Father's Day, as we have already been through our first best of 5 of the day, and we're getting ready for Storm Esports versus Simplicity. Now, you may all have noticed that there's only 2 of us, not 3, and unfortunately, there is some really bad packet loss that's happening over for Justing, so he's going to try and work at it as best as he can. Hopefully we can get him back during some point during the series, but unfortunately, it is what it is, and we don't want to bring him on the show and robot, because he does want to break down analytics and stuff, but he doesn't want to sound like a robot while doing it. Everyone's like, I don't really like the dubstep remix of this analytics, so we're going to let him try and solve that in the background with the help of our admins and tech, and until then, you got the beautiful Grubby and I. And Grubby, what'd you get up to on your break besides watch that amazing interview with CPX and Kyle Ferguson?
Just picking some strawberries in the field and eating some strawberries.
Did you have more of the I don't remember the name of it you said yesterday, but it's the strawberry toast?
Yes. Strawberries.
Uh-huh. Oh, those look great.
Yeah. And this is the fladenbrood I talked to you about.
Oh, so it's kind of like a seeded bread, sort of. It's got like a medley of seeds or something. Mmm.
Yeah. A lot of seeds on it. Really nice. So
Actually
just
sounds,
getting our energy up for the next best of 5. And I know you guys worked hard to get those total donations over $12,000, and you'll get the real thing. And we're missing Justin and Springy even more. But luckily, he did send me a picture of Springy before.
Oh.
So at the very least, we can still show it for a little bit, and you get the real thing later.
That is so adorable. That face. That is just a perfect face. But we are here in our second best of 5 of the day. I ate my halftime fruit. I had a pear today. It's just, oh my god, a juicy pear is just so good. In between our series, get that natural sugar, if you will, also just tastes delicious. But you know what else is delicious? CCLmarkets.com. Because it's up to you to get the best pick for the winning team live as you're watching on CCLmarkets.com. It's free. If you pick wrong, you can sell your shares and buy the shares of the other team before the match is over. The CCL markets trade from 0 to 100, with shares of the winning team valuing at 100 and shares of the losing team expiring at 0. There's tons of prizes this season, so join and play during every Heroes CCL broadcast. Shout out once again to the members, or to Ball Street for partnering with us for Heroes CCL Season 4. But let's not delay, Grubby. Let's start talking about these rosters. And I'm going to go ahead and take over for Storm Esports, because we did have one roster swap that I can talk about. Storm Esports did drop Swamp Grata and picked up Unaverted. So we'll have CPX on range, Maka on range, Unaverted on range, Lauber on tank, June on heal, and Nasmus on the off lane as a sub. So I can only imagine we'll see some flexing. Hey, maybe we get that CPX Hogger, as he claimed he's a Hogger god in the interview. But of course, Grubby, gotta break this down for everyone, because we had big changes over on the side of Simplicity.
Yeah, and I think Swamp Grotto did well for Storm, but we don't know the reasons exactly behind it. On the side of Simplicity, many changes have been made. The sole Korean player remaining being Wishing on that healing role. Tiger JK had been a recent acquisition who really got the first 2 map wins, basically, for Simplicity with his Maiev pick. Porky is going to be back on offlane. He's been swapped around a lot. Slips is new. He's from Canada, I believe. Casper from Germany. He can do offlaning as well. And Lupus is going to be reprising the tank role. So at the 11th hour, for the final 2 matches, Simplicity will be fielding more than 50% of a new roster here. And they're going to hope that will be their boon, their saving grace in their final 2 matches. Currently, Simplicity, of course, is at a 0-5 record. If they win 2 matches, if they win this match, they are 1-5 shared with Storm. If they win 3-0 against Storm, Simplicity's map differential goes from -13 to -10. Storm goes from -5 to -8. So Storm will still be ahead in the map differential against Simplicity. Simplicity would then need to get another +2 map differential in their final series, which is against Oxygen. They would need to win 3-1, and they would need Storm to lose with any score whatsoever, or to win. No, they would need 3-0. Like, if Storm wins, Simplicity would need 3-0. So to make things simple, Simplicity can gain 1 rank at least if they get a win now or next week. But if they want to gain 2 ranks, go from rank 8 to 6, they need to 3 zeros, basically. They need to do 3 zeros with how their map score is right now. That's what they need.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Grubby, for doing the math and the breakdown. I'm sure people actually do want to know kind of that statistical possibilities for either of these teams. Let's actually check out the possibility of map number 1 in this best of 5 series. It'll be Simplicity choosing to take us to Tomb of the Spider Queen, as Storm Esports has won the coin flip, opting for first pick priority, banning out Dragonshire, and the members of Simplicity banning out Garden of Terror. I'm just looking really quickly at map stats. We actually have no data on Simplicity on Tomb, and we have 2 losses for the side of Storm Esports on this map. So maybe that is what's pushing Simplicity to take Storm Esports here. No data on Simplicity and 2 losses for said Storm Esports.
Yeah, the very complicated Dragonshire getting banned away. It's pretty hard to play with a roster that doesn't gel as well as some of the higher top teams. Again, super important for Simplicity to get 3-0. For the side of Storm Esports, they are at 1-4. They could go 3-4 if they win everything else, and Diamond Hands could still lose and they would be 3-4. And the map differential for Storm is actually really good for a 1-4 team. So, if Storm wins here with any score at all, and they win against Wildheart next week, they're very likely to be rank 6 or 5. They can't be rank 4 anymore, but every rank you improve is 1 fewer match in the gauntlet, in the knockout.
Yeah.
So Storm should be extremely motivated to win all their matches with as good of a score as possible, but winning is the main thing. Diamond Hands is up against Chili Mountain, so losing there is relatively likely, I would say. I mean, there's a 60% chance statistically that Diamond Hands loses to Chili Mountain next week.
Okay.
So Storm, they can hope for that. They are rank 6 now. They can become rank 5. And if they just kind of win, they'll remain rank 6 at the very least.
Well, there's a lot of moving parts still in the day and a half of, or I guess 3 days of group play still happening, as today counts as one of them. Had a slight lobby bug, so we're getting that sorted really quickly, and we'll be getting into Tomb of the Spider Queen draft in just a second here. Really excited about this map. I'm curious, Grubby, do you think we could see another 35-plus minute map here, or do you think this is going to be a little bit more executed on one of the sides?
I think part of that was because, Diamond Hands did a simultaneous boss plus objective. Mm-hmm. If they pushed alongside with boss and saved objective for right afterwards, that could have been better. They could have won the game right there. Yeah. On Tomb, I feel like you shouldn't play too scared when you're doing well. I mean, at the end of the day, they still won it. But Tomb does have that syndrome. The objective is mid-strength, about 5 out of 10, I would say. But Tomb does have that syndrome of being having a difficult time to finish the game off. But let's see how it goes. So far, Simplicity lost everything 0-3 last weekend. They lost 2-3 against the other weakest team in Granite. That did mean that Simplicity won their first maps, but they still lost. And now they have a new roster. I want to see how they are going to be getting on. Now, not to put you on the spot, I know nothing. What do you know about Slips, Lupus? Yeah, Slips and Lupus, the newest acquisitions.
Lupus I can talk about because I have casted him in the past. He, I believe, was actually on the Wildheart Esports roster last season, and I think he was on the sub role for most of the season. I'm just gonna jump into Slips's roster a little bit here. Got a lot of Zeratul play, a lot of Genji, Hanzo, Lucio, a lot of range, mostly range assassins. I mean, I know Zeratul is melee, but he can kind of feel range with how he can maneuver around. Slips does have a Mephisto in his roster as well, so we could see that being picked up by him. But Lupus in the past, someone from the community that I've casted here and there through NGS or even Heroes Rise Contender Series, a strong tank player, which those are the few things that I can talk about. But what I did want to bring up, Grubby, is will the members of Storm ban out the Maiev after seeing Tiger JK so prominent on it last weekend? And absolutely they will. But Grubby, there are a couple picks already happening here. In June, we'll get onto a Lucio for Tomb, which I feel like is a S-tier pickup for anyone, especially in the hands of June.
Yeah, very, very strong. They banned out Mokka Sylvanas. Mm-hmm. Mokka from Storm is known as one of the best, or at least Sylvanas is known as one of his best heroes, if not the best. So that's a target ban. Junkrat being removed. I think that's Mocha's second. So they're really targeting him there. June, therefore, gains access to Lucio. And like you said, yeah, it's an S tier ban. S tier? What is that? Not everyone knows about the D into C, B, A, and an S. And why is it that way? But it just is from old Korean conventions. And South Korea has a big history in popularizing what we now know as some of the most popular Western esports titles in terms of strategy, MOBA and RTS, I suppose.
It's also
and S tier was their gradation. There's another source.
There's like in some of the FPS games I played growing up and stuff like that. If you had like a high accuracy, like I think Resident Evil 5 actually has this. If you at the end of like a chapter they give you like an accuracy rating and stuff like that, you can get like S tier and stuff like that. So it is there are some things.
I have no idea why then.
Yeah, because I grew up like having it in a lot of like shooting games like Time Crisis I think is the name of the game where you have like the little pedal on the floor and you can duck behind things. But let's talk about the map right here because we have had a few picks, a few bans. Kerrigan target ban and a Diablo ban as well. I love the Anubrak Hanzo Slips. That might be Slips' Hanzo right there. I did see a lot of people talking on Twitter when Slips was actually released from Simplicity and now picked back up. A lot of people are saying he's a really, really strong player. I'm surprised they let him go. And we'll see him actually debut here in HeroesCCL. But a Muradin Tychus for the side of Storm Esports. I like the Storm draft here.
Really bullying the Anubarak here, mostly when the Anubarak doesn't have Bro Charge available anymore. So like they're baiting him to ever use it aggressively, and if he does, that's potentially Tomb, Chromie combo, Tychus minigun. It's insane. They're bullying the front line a lot here with Leoric Tychus. And so how is Simplicity going to deal with that? Their front line does have Bunker. They decide, hey, let's add even more front line. Now, I think Sundering in particular should be the choice here. You can do Earthquake, and it can kind of offset Lucio movement and whatnot. But where Earthquake pins people down for you to hit your skill shots, that's not really what Simplicity is looking to do here. They're not looking to hit that one Hanzo skill shot hero. Everyone else is a brawler, right? So really, Sundering here is going to have a damage mitigation purpose here. So that when Entomb hits, when Stormbolt hits, he's going to be able to Sunder on top of Chromie or Tychus, and make sure that those hits don't come in, that you can survive the initial Entomb and then turn it around on them with Bunker, with Cocoon and Impale and Burrow Charge and whatnot, and whatever Hanzo is going to go for. Because Hanzo can go for the Dragon Pretzels, but he could also do Arrow, and I think both are viable here. What do you think?
I'm thinking... I'm liking the idea of like a Sundering into a Dragon's Strike, the pretzels, and just kind of layering the lockdown, because Blaze lockdown, Anubarak lockdown, Brightwing with a polymorph. I think that there's so many things. You knock them into the wall, and then you just have everybody kind of just follow up and chain the CC. Or even, the Sundering is just another prolonged CC form to keep that damage coming in. So I really do think that is a very possible play for the side of Diamond Hand, or not Diamond Hands, for Simplicity, still in the last game. But let's actually introduce our teams. We got 2 new rosters, a brand new best of 5, and let's see where this series takes us with some changes to both rosters. On the side of Storm Esports, Maka on the Tychus, CPX on the Chromie, Lauber on the Muradin, June to play Lucio, and Brandon, who's also known as Unaverted, on the Leoric. On the side of Simplicity, we've got Porky on the Blaze, Lupus on the Anubarak, Slip will play Hanzo, Wishing on the Brightwing, and Thrall to be played by Tiger JK. When unfortunately, well, I guess fortunately, because we can sit here and just talk more about what we think about these drafts, and we can actually see what some of the level 1s look like. Seems like we have some communication lag between the players, so we are going to... actually, we're going to be seeing a call out onto a mount as well. But either way, we'll let all of that get fixed by the admins in the background. Grubby, any thoughts on either what we could see here or even the level 1s that are coming through?
Your question was? Because I was reading something.
No worries at all. It's what we could potentially get. What your thoughts are on the initiation, the start of this game, or even any thoughts on the level 1s we're getting from both sides?
Well, we might have a remake. It's nothing big. Just need to settle maybe a skin or a mount. We see the Beetle talent from Anubarak coming in here. You could go with Spell Armor against Chromie. That sounds pretty good to me. You could go with the Regeneration Globes because he figures, hey, I need a bigger health pool to survive Leo and Tychus' attack, even though bigger health pool also is a bigger percentage. He goes with the Beetles. Beetles can block Chromie's skill shots. Having more of them and them having 30 spell armor, he's going to be able to block some sand blast. We will go to a regame as they rehost with the same draft. They're not going to redraft. So we just need a few moments here to set that up, and then we can actually see this game beginning. But Thrall is going to be in the 4-man, I suppose.
Okay.
Because we already have Blaze. So it's a 4-man Thrall. And he was against what tank was it again? Was it Muradin?
Yes, Muradin.
Muradin. Okay, so between Thrall doing his root and then getting some percentage damage hits, I have to remember the draft now. It's been a while since we saw it. Like, can they kill Muradin when he's trying to pick up gems? That's what I'm thinking. Hanzo, Thrall, who was their tank?
A Nubarak?
A Nubarak, oh yeah. That's 3 forms of CC with Hanzo, Q coming in, and then Polymorph. It looks like it could actually be quite scary for Muradin with all that coming in.
So we've been talking extensively about the drafts and potentials and stuff like that, and we're getting ready to get back into the game because we had to do a slight little remake here just to make sure that everything is on the level for both of these teams. And as Grubby had mentioned, no redraft will happen. We'll just get back into the game in just a second. So we'll talk about the game when we get into it. Grubby, at this time, since we're kind of just waiting, I want to get your thoughts. I know you've been talking about Sergeant Hammer a little bit. Has CCL inspired you to play any other heroes in your own games or even any other build types? Because I'm thinking about trying out the auto attack Falstad in my upcoming week of Storm League games.
Yes, I was inspired to play Maiev last night, but my teammates probably didn't find it a very inspiring sight.
Oh.
Yeah. Cringe.
Oh no.
Yeah,
oh, no.
but
Okay.
I mean, I got so inspired and I've been resisting it because we've been seeing a lot of Maiev in CCL.
Mm-hmm.
And I would just like to let anyone that wants to follow their dreams, anyone that watches CCL and thinks, I want to do that too, to really just go for it and not do it. Don't pick Maiev just because you saw someone play it well in CCL. It really needs a lot of practice against AI, okay? Don't do what I did. I don't think I got enough reports to merit a ban.
Oh, nice.
It's getting there, so no Maiev for me anymore. But it looks so good when other people do it, though.
Right? Yeah, no, I was inspired by the auto attack Falstad we saw last week, and so I actually went back in the replay and I sat there and just locked onto Falstad, taking a look at what they were doing movement-wise and stuff like that. Some very interesting plays as well from a Falstad player, utilizing barrel roll to get shielding and then also body blocking with it. It was very, very interesting tactic, but just one of those things that you can learn so much from watching back these VODs or even just locking onto a hero. So for anyone that does want to check out the VODs for CCL, they are publicly posted in the HeroesCCL Discord, and you can check those out after every best of 5 series. They're usually, I think there's a spoiler-free stuff added in as well for who wins the map and everything, so you can definitely learn a little bit. You can also, if you miss the games, you can check them out that way. But it is a really good way to kind of just understand what a player's doing specifically in a game, because I was able to, as I said, lock onto the Falstad player and just see every single movement that they were doing, and positioning-wise too was a really good ability. I'm just looking to see really quickly. I don't really know what is the lag right now, but we'll figure that out, and hopefully we'll be able to get into this game in just a little bit. But yeah, no, that's the big question, is just if you're inspired by CCL. You look perplexed there, Grubby.
Yeah, I'm just I'm finding out when someone joined a certain Discord, they started getting global lag across all of their network applications, like allegedly. And I was a bit surprised about that, as much as some of the players were surprised about it. Not just like the voice coming in slow, but everything slow. I don't know how that could work. And maybe that's not what's happening, but yeah, that's what I was perplexed about. As we're getting everyone back in the lobby and trying to get this thing started. Thanks for your patience.
Yeah, slight delay on our first map in this second best of 5 of the day, and thank you all so much as well for just understanding that. We're actually going to go to a short little break and try and get things settled. When we come back, we will be getting into Tomb of the Spider Queen for Storm Esports versus Simplicity. Don't go anywhere. This is HeroesCCL presented by Wisdom. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to HeroesCCL presented by Wisdom. My name's Bahamut, joined by Grubby. And as we had mentioned, Justin unfortunately has some connectivity issues, so we will do our best to get him back in later on. But we are loading on in to Tomb of the Spider Queen, and we actually have it ready to go. So Grubby, let's go ahead and jump into this. We can introduce the teams once more and get ourselves ready for this matchup. On the left-hand side, we got Storm Esports. We got Maka on the Tychus, CPX on the Chromie. We've got Unaverted, aka Brandon, on the York, Lauber on the Muradin, and June on the Lucio. Over on the side of Simplicity, we are going to be having Porky on the Blaze, Lupus on the Anubarak, Wishing on the Brightwing, Slips on the Hanzo, and the Tiger JK on Thrall. Now, we're here, we're ready to go. Grubby, my beautiful friend, let's go ahead and start casting map number 1 in this best of 5 series. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good because we've got the game underway. All the players that weren't able to join the lobby are now in and right on time. Let's have a good series, hopefully, knock on wood, without any further technical issues. Thanks for your patience. Let's go Simplicity versus Storm Esports. Again, to remind everyone what's going on, Simplicity needs 3 zeros to improve their rank. And Storm needs 2 of any wins, most likely. Score not as important. That's my kind of rough estimate, as there are many different permutations of what could happen between today and the next and final weekend of our round-robin group stage play.
Now, week 7 is going to be exciting, but we're here. Porky getting chased. Phase shift from Brightwing will connect, but that's Brandon with the slow. Porky is going to be able to back away. Tiger JK trying to put pressure onto CPX as Lupus comes in with the Burrow Charge, the Impale. A lot of damage onto CPX, and that is first blood to the side of Storm Esports, but a trade to be made as we do have the Thrall to go down, and Lauber wants another kill. He's thirsty.
This game is so Lauber.
Yes. Grenade, Maka? No?
Yeah.
Yeah?
You know,
I need that sound
onomatopoeia
clip.
sometimes better than words. I felt like it was suitable to the situation. So far, this game has been so Lauber. Every single one of them has been channeling the inner Lauber on both sides. As people have been going for kills without any regard to their own safety. Are they crazy or are they courageous? Or both. It's a high-paced game with June and Lauber jumping in. Consequences be damned. It's a 1-for-1 in kills. The experience deficit looks big, but it's mostly just because some of the minions haven't been cleared yet, right? No, it is actually a decent experience difference that Storm has built up somehow, some way. They cleared more.
They're courageously confident, I would say, honestly, on the side of Storm with the way that they started things out. But of course, still traded. We have Tychus going into the Master Assassin at level 4. Just have that baseline value. Pretty standard level 4s if I do... Yeah, if everything kind of looks pretty normal. Muradin is holding UK. He does go into the Reverberation at level 4. That is also going to play extremely well into Lauber's level 10, getting a 5% cooldown reduction on his heroic every time he hits a singular or multiple... Well, every enemy here he hits with the Thunderclap, his W. Like that. I've been playing it more myself, and I find so much value. If we take a peek into the top lane, Thrall is being pressured, but it doesn't look like he's actually going to be pressured life-wise, just mostly in the lane by Lauber, as Brandon on the Leoric still clearing things up with his mop.
It's cool to see Tiger JK on a melee again. On my F, he had lethal lockdowns that secured only 2 wins that Simplicity had this season. They banned out his Kerrigan, another lockdown melee. And now he's got Thrall and he's going for the level 4 Roots quest, another lockdown melee. This bodes quite well for Simplicity. Can they get their first best of 5 victory this season? In comes the Burrow Charge by Lupus. The turnaround. Stormbolt misses. Lauber doesn't get the attack. Mocha unable to get the minigun to drill deep into Anubarak. That's a time trap. There's going to be... Is it the movement speed? Yes, but yet Tychus is unable to get away.
Tychus does fall. No trade this time. Tiger JK gets hit with a Stormbolt, but...
Oh!
Yeah, Lauber stepping in for a Stormbolt onto a enemy hero that already had finished turning in. So a little unfortunate. Lauber does go down. Some kills to go over to the side of Simplicity, who have now jumped ahead in the experience and should have enough for a turn. And though Leoric, Unaverted, aka Brandon, will be... Okay, he was delaying it out, but no longer. Okay, there's the Red Web Weavers very quickly over the side of Simplicity.
Yeah, that's a very quick turn in indeed. How many gems do they have left? They have enough. So it is generally possible to turn in that quickly when there are no interrupts. 4 minutes on the clock when they turned in. This is also a weak Web Weaver phase. We never really talk about the health of the Spider Mamas as they descend, but let's talk about it. Anubarak has a health pool of 3,000, and the Spider Mama has a health pool of 8,000. So that's about, at this stage in the game, that's 2 Diablos worth of health.
Our ever-present metric of health pools is how many Diablos do you have to go through. Polymorph onto Lauber, he gets hit with a root, and Tiger JK will finish out his level 4 quest 4 minutes and 42 seconds in. That's really, really good timing on that one, just to note. We do see the sidewalls being taken out here as the slow siege comes in. It's not always a thing that teams do, but taking down the sidewalls open up opportunities to really play in, as you see Lupus trying to make that angle work out for the burrow charge. The Web Weaver in top lane low does end, gets about 30 or so % of this top lane fort. Meanwhile in mid lane, unaverted on the Leoric is going to, actually he's going to be fine. I thought he might be getting ganked, but not the case. 1 to 3 in kills, 9 level 9 first for Simplicity, but Storm Esports not too far behind.
There's a whole different energy here with Lupus on tank. He's playing confidently and aggressively on the Anubarak. Not happy to just play Chaperone and defensive counter assault. No, he's the one that's going to go in. As Lauber jumps in with a Dwarf Toss and a Bolt, hoping to get a Thrall. There's a root on Lucio. Simplicity's closing in on that level 10.
Blaze was getting forced back in bottom lane, does tap well. More scatters out from Hanzo, does finish his level 1, so he has the extra bounces on that one. We'll have level 10 soon for the side of Storm Esports, which will give the piercing bolt to Lauber, as well as cooldown reduction from the autos. June trying to get a turn in here. 73 gems in the pocket of Storm Esports. Over on the side of Simplicity. Oh, wait, hold on. There's a dive onto Tychus. Maka does get hit by. There's the layered CC we talked about. It isn't going to be the Dragon Strike. It will be Dragon's Arrow, but now a second kill might be had. Already a chunk of gems to be dropped at Lauber. I don't know. I was asked this question. If you shift Q an ability, like a Dwarf Toss, for example, does that auto trigger after the cocoon falls, or do you have to actively push that button? That's the one thing I'm curious about.
You have to push it, but I do think I heard that you can hold it. You can hold E rather than mass tapping it. This works in StarCraft 2 since Reforged. It works in Warcraft 3 as well. So I would assume it works in HoTS, and the stupid thing is I've never done it, but I think I've been told it. So try it out next time. Supposedly you can just hold something and it's going to auto trigger. Nonetheless, he had zero agency of getting away. That was a Thrall mistake.
And if you like, that's definitely something I want to try myself this week. I need to make a note of it and just maybe even go into like custom game and just try it out with a friend just to see how it works out. But either way, another red Web Weaver phase to the side of Simplicity. The Commandeer Odin though has been achieved with that 10 talent here for Storm, so they've got Maka with good defensive tools with that Ragnarok missile and the Annihilation. Unaverted in bottom lane will clear out the Web Weaver. Muradin, Lauber already moving into mid to clear that out, or at least start throwing some Storm Bolts out. 13 will be big for Storm, especially Lauber when he does get the Bronzebeard Rage.
If they can get this top 4, that would be pretty big. Opening up the map in such a way would be fantastic for Simplicity. They're gonna get it. Top 4 gone, catapults periodically gonna be appearing. And meanwhile, Porky is actually initiating by himself. He gets the Brightwing heal, there's an arrow. That's a really nice save. And there's a Sundering! They interrupted the Merlin jump, in comes Jet Propulsion Blaze, they get the kill! Brandon trying to run away here, unaverted, that's his real name. He's running away with the tether of Drain Life still. With that kill, Simplicity is able to get a second keep. They're off to a great start. They're looking the best they have yet. This new roster. We should really jump into their comms sometime soon, because we've never heard them speak anything than a few words of English with a lot of Korean, of course. And you know, I wish we could understand it or have one of those fancy futuristic auto translation, but we haven't. Now we can actually kind of hear how their comms are with this newly formed squad.
I absolutely agree. Maybe the Web Weaver turn in from Storm, we can get the defensive comms for Simplicity, or even maybe later on if Simplicity gets another Web Weaver phase. But as we take stock of the map, Lauber's floating around the boss area, not going for it. 13 talent tier for Simplicity just about to be achieved, and only one fort survives so far for Storm. The outer layer of defenses of Storm Esports map are slowly falling apart, just like Lauber's HP slowly going down right there in that whittled down engagement.
So what is the game plan here for Storm Esports? It's a Dwarf Toss and a Stormbolt in on someone, trying to follow up with an Entomb. It has to be someone vulnerable, not a Nubrak that still has Charge, not Blaze that still has Bunker. It's got to be someone like Thrall or Hanzo. Hanzo can jump over an Entomb, so it is kind of tough. It's kind of got to be about the counterattack, and that's how Storm is playing this. It feels like they kind of lack agency to make something happen. They've got the level 13, but they're getting sniped out and kept low by Slips.
Slips is constantly getting scatters or storm bows, as of course he misses both of them right there. Sundering from the Thrall interrupts the Leoric as he gets the short distance Wraithwalk to try and back away. Applies the Spectral Leech to try and stay alive, and Porky backs away to take away the tether, or remove the tether. There we go. So 17 gems, 16 gems still necessary for Storm Simplicity to get a turn in here. And Storm Esports, they haven't even gotten their first turn in. They've got 102 in the pockets. I mean, I'm going to hit Control 6 here. 67 for the Leoric right now. 67. That is just way too much as he had to Hearth back for full.
It feels like Storm has so little control in the fight compared to Simplicity. Simplicity's looking so dominant, right?
I mean, the roster change is looking really good for Simplicity. I don't know if Storm is I don't know if those couple early game kills is getting to them, but Lauber right now pops the Avatar with 20% HP. And he looks like he'll back away. Thrall poking out with the Chain Lightning. Big Arrow will connect. High five from June does manage to do the this manage to save. Now, do we want to get into Simplicity comms here?
Yeah, let's hear it from them, even though it's not them that has the objective, but we haven't heard from this roster before. Let's go.
We need to watch the turn-ins and fix the wave when we're good.
Yeah, I'm just clearing bottom.
Top is really pushed in, so middle is pushed in too. Can we clear top first, then we go middle?
I'm okay here.
I'll try for the mid gank right now. The mid gank is where they want.
Yeah.
It looks like they're coming
careful,
top.
mid.
Yeah,
Careful on the
from the top lane.
Leoric's coming up, Leoric's coming up.
It's coming to top. I don't want them to get the fort. They're Odining for it.
Odin.
I'll clear mid. You guys can worry about top.
Maybe I go mid and we should go top. I can follow.
They might just get the fort.
Yeah, we're gonna get 16 soon, by the way.
There.
Yep.
He's
Yo,
looking.
Leo's looking. Leo's looking, but he has no E.
I'm not getting chunked.
GG.
Yeah, they're on me here.
Nice stun. Oh,
They missed the Entomb.
They're coming down. They're coming. They're coming.
Yeah, they missed the Entomb here.
I'm bunkering.
Yeah. I have Thunder. You have Arrow?
Yep.
No, I don't have it.
Okay, I'm gonna Thunder
have,
first.
You looked upside. Looked upside.
Top side.
Stun down.
I'm sundering this.
Poly.
Big Thunder.
Help with
I need a kite.
Just peel. Yeah, just peel.
Nice.
I still have
Oh,
arrow.
stun.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, let's look for
Yeah,
a nice
next
turn in.
Yo, I got him.
Oh, do
You get that, Slips.
Oh, go
nice.
jumps actually.
Hey,
It's really big if we don't let him get it.
I stun.
Oh,
CPX.
he's on CPS.
Poly.
It's big. Nice.
Nice.
We boss?
Yeah, we
Don't
boss.
let him. Don't let him
Zoning
get gems. Don't let him
gems.
get
I
gems.
got it.
Yeah, let's go boss right now.
Nice.
Yeah, let's go
Big,
boss.
big,
Go boss.
Oh,
Go.
I fucking missed that arrow.
One of my absolute favorite things, Grubby, to hear from the team is not only calling out when they're going to get stuns, things they're lining up, or what they want to do ahead of time, is when they literally call out, let's zone out the gems so they can't pick them up, because before we got into comms, Storm Esports had 100 plus gems. They're at 39 right now.
Yeah, so many gems were lost. Simplicity did a great job there. Also asking questions about heroics. Of course, you can check the cooldowns yourself, but you're so laser focused on everyone's exact positioning. That sounded good. That was vocal. We can see why Simplicity is doing well so far with this 8-1 takedown record. They've got the gems to turn in, and they do. It's a boss plus turn in plus bruiser camp. Now they just need to get a handle on bottom wave, which Blaze is doing. They're playing this very safely, not really pushing in hard with the boss, which could be potentially a risk. It's really about the web weaver. The boss is being used essentially to upvalue the objective, giving a chance to clear out bruiser camp and push out bot, so that everything will hit in a very synchronized fashion.
You know what, the other thing, the takeaway right there, Tiger JK was the leading voice that you heard most of in that in the engagements, a little bit from Lupus. The one or two times we actually heard from Slips was in moments of well, what he could do as a Hanzo, because he was stepping forward and everyone was like, oh, we don't get Leoric, and Slips just goes, I got it, and lands the beautiful scatter off the side of the wall. And then that's when we started hearing the calls for, you know, let's go boss, and then you hear someone else say, well, zone for gems first. I like that call. That's big. They can do both of those things, and they did it quite effectively as the Red Web Weavers come through once again to the side of Simplicity, who are leading by nearly 3 levels. We'll call it 2 because it's 17 to 19, as Leoric does clear up bottom lane, and some decent siege into the lanes, but no critical structures to fall, those being the keeps.
Yeah, mid tower's gone though, that's pretty nice. 1 tower top gone, and no boss there. But Simplicity has surprisingly many gems, Bahamut, for a phase here where they've already had 3 turn-ins, I believe it is.
This is a flank, yeah, this is looking like Maka's the target. Slowing Sands on the ground, Sundering from the Thrall, arrow connects from the Hanzo. Cocoon onto June on the right-hand side of our screen as the Entomb from Unaverted will connect, but Brandon does go down. We have CPX getting low here. 1 jet propulsion from Porky would connect, or would get the kill, but he times out to buy a window, and CPX is still alive for the time being, but it's gonna be a triple kill, a quadra kill. It's gonna be a quadra kill.
What?
This is mid lane keep to go down. 20 seconds is the lead. Actually, he's cheating death. It's about 30 seconds on average for 3 players, and Lupus's positioning, as well as Tiger JK, leads me to believe that Simplicity will shut down map 1 with a 3-level lead, and they'll be able to take core right here. They gotta take down the keep first there, Tiger JK.
They're trying to. Let's see if Lauber can stay alive here. He's got nope. Let's see if.
What about Unaverted? Can he? No, I don't. I mean, Chromie's up in 8. Brandon will fall, and yeah, that's unfortunately going to be a shutdown. A hard shutdown from a team that basically, I would say, a relatively new roster overall of Simplicity, but they come out dominant. And, hey, you had said, Grubby, you had said, and I quote you, Bahamut is the cutest. No, I'm just kidding.
I knew you were going to lie. I knew you were going to.
No, but you did say that Simplicity
I said that
needs
in private,
3 O's.
But I said that in private. Bahamut's the cutest.
It's okay. I needed everyone to know. But no, the point that I want to make here is that you had said Simplicity needs 2-3 O's to really do something. And yes, they're not going to jump in and go to the land from there, but if you change your position in the ladder, that's less teams you have to go up against in that July matchup. And Simplicity, they've started this climb. It's possible. It is absolutely possible for them to shut this down and make a 3-0 happen. That'd be like, I mean, I don't want anyone to lose. I want everyone to have fun in CCL, but like, it would be kind of crazy to see Simplicity actually do this back to back to back, and I kind of want them to do it. I feel like it'd be a really fun storyline to see from Simplicity as we get ready and closer into our ladder bracket. Grubby, let's take a look at some of the highlight moments from this game early on. This was that initial 1-for-1 trade.
This is how early the highlights started. Check out that engage on Chromie. Look at Tiger JK. He knows he's gonna die, right? But he still wanted to confirm the kill. That's the situation. That's the bloodlust there is in that moment. That also happened to be the only death that Simplicity ended up suffering. Everything else was just all Simplicity. Moments like this one, where you had Tiger JK calling out that he has a Sundering, aiming for it. I thought he's going to use it now. Because he kept mentioning it. Finally, he just used it to kind of hit Mokka and Brandon there in the backline. Got the root that actually interrupted the Dwarf Dash on Lauber. Lauber, he must have felt like it was a really difficult time. Because how does he get Chromie and Tigers to follow up on any kill when there's so much counter-engage on not just him, but on anyone? If he goes in and lands a Dwarf Toss, a Sundering will stop that. This was a very smart sidestep engage. Note the Cocoon going in on Lucio to give free roam. No high fives for anyone right now. There was the Sundering, the root on Leoric. And it's just, it's incredible. Always Porky gunning for the CPX there on that Chromie.
And CPX falls as well as, yeah, it's just, this was the fight that ended the map number 1 on Tomb, and you see Slips, he wants to kill Lauber here, but I think the call was probably coming through comms. Let's rush core, let's end game, and here will be that keep going down. We do get the respawn onto Leoric, and Lauber tries to make something happen, but I think the laser focus, as you had mentioned in the game from Simplicity, really does show in just their overall personal mechanic mechanical execution, but also as execution as a team. They're able to lock onto a target and be able to destroy said target. We heard it in the comms where they were changing targets from here and there, but they were always on that new target. We've heard previous comms from other teams where it's chaos. Everyone's calling out something. You've got maybe a Tychus on one fight, and then you've got a Hanzo on another, and it's all split. But here it seems Simplicity, as you had mentioned in the game, looking the best they have all season. But of course, this best of all season comes from a massive roster swap that they had. They got rid of Berber, Apto, and Dulal, picking up Lupus, Slips, and Unaverted as well. So Brandon being picked up there. So it's overall really cool
Unaverted
games.
is on the other side, right?
Oh, on Simplicity. Sorry. I think I misspoke there.
Well, let's see. The new players is.
Oh no, you're right. Sorry, my notes are backward. My notes are backwards.
You got you have all the new roster changes because there's. I know. I mean, we know here they lost Dulal, Apto, and Berber.
Yeah.
Those three is they lost, and they started using their bench again. And Porky is now on off lane, so a lot of changes. Slips is new, Lupus is new, and Lupus has taken the tanking role away from Porky. And that, at the end of the day, the ping difference from Korea and the language barrier probably prevented some of those heroes of South Korea to bring about their full force here to bear. Didn't work out with that roster. Now with some changes, they get a nice first map victory here. And they also were off to a 2-0 start last weekend, if I'm not mistaken, but then they got reversed by Granda Gaming. They need the 3-0. They need to do that again. And in the meantime, Thrall is looking so good every time he's being used.
I do like the Thrall utilization. I thought the Sunderings were beautiful. I think we can find out where we're going to for map number 2. I do believe we have that set and ready to go as we're getting our lobby going here. All right. It's going to be Simplicity choosing to take us to Alterac Pass, as Storm Esports has opted in for first pick priority on this second map here. I'm just trying to look at my stats really quickly. Alterac Pass for Storm Esports, 1-1 record. The side of Simplicity is 1-2. But those records are a little, it's hard data to really utilize here as we are getting ready for this second map. I do like Alterac quite a bit. It functions... Team fight wise, it functions really fun as an observer and a caster, because you do have these really clumped up moments around the jailer areas. And then the big thing to consider too is it's a double boss map. Will we see Hanzo to burn through those bosses? Will we see any sort of Tracer to solo a boss, or even Twin Blades variant to grab his banner and solo a boss? All these things are definitely possible as we are getting the readies out from these teams, and we will get into Alterac Pass in just a second. As a reminder for anyone wondering where Justin is, unfortunately, he is having some technical issues. I do believe he is working on them in the background. Hopefully we can get him back in soon. But until then, you've got the lovely faces of Grubby and myself here on HeroesCCL as we get ready for Alterac Pass. Was Alterac Pass? Let me look at. Was Alterac Pass the map that Simplicity won last week as well? I'm trying to see really quickly. They did actually, Simplicity did win Alterac Pass up against Granite Gaming. That was the first map. That was where we saw the debut of Tiger JK's Maiev.
Yeah, it was Maiev, also Hanzo, it was Rhaegar and Hager and Muradin. That's what won them. And it was against Gaslow. Remember the random Wooby Gaslow coming out?
Do you remember the Probius last week as well? Because I'm sure a lot of us do.
Probius?
There was Probius. Wait, was that yesterday? Am I crazy? Wait, was the Probius last week or was it yesterday?
I think that was like 2-3 weeks ago. You're thinking of Banks Probius, or?
I'm 90% sure it was an Alterac Pass game, but that's all aside. We have Alterac Pass map ready to go here for all of you at home, and we will get into the draft right now as we are looking at a first pick from the side of Storm Esports. And I wonder what they're going to change up here. Will it be something similar from Tomb of the Spider Queen, or will we see something new from the side of Storm to kind of adjust after that last game?
It most of all just felt like Storm Esports had a draft and Simplicity had a plan. Layering CCs and then just lots of CCs with a clear plan of how you can take someone out we know we have enough damage, we have enough stun and root window within a certain time to take someone out. And if they engage on us with Tomb or with Chromie or with Tychus's minigun, we've got the Sundering to disengage. That felt like a clear plan that you could put on paper and that would make sense. But when I was trying to come up with a plan of how a Murden, Leo, Tychus, Chromie get a kill against, be it Thrall, be it a Nubarak, be it Blaze, I just couldn't see it. I didn't see enough stun duration or silence or root duration to get a kill. There were too many counter engage via Bunker and Sundering. So it just wasn't there. Diamond Hands had a really good plan earlier today in the series. They had always the Blessed Shield into the mind control, into if you have Stitches and Junkrat, there's a plan. I feel like that's what was missing. Storm does thrive in those chaotic moments, but they weren't given an easy opponent. The opponent's plan was stronger. So let's see what Storm puts together now. They're going to start with a Hogger. A strong start, Bahamut.
I do like Hogger. Grabs camps really well. Has a lot of bounce variety with the Alterac Pass corridors and just a lot of terrain that does jut out. But we start with the Blaze Brightwing over on the side of Simplicity. The Jet Propulsions from Porky and Wishing's Polymorphs were very on point. The overall heal output from Brightwing and her phase shifts were very good. As you had mentioned, it was, I think, a 1-14 game in map number 1, favoring Simplicity. And basically that just shows Wishing couldn't get one... Like, he couldn't heal one hero in a level 1, level 2 fight or something like that. So, still Wishing showcasing a very strong healing skills, as we do have a Nubarak Lucio to the side of Storm Esports.
Yeah, so far there's a recreation of some of the draft picks that Simplicity had in map number 1. And Nubarak has now been taken away. No more Cocoon on a Lucio before he can save people with his high five. Of course, Cocoon can be blocked if Lucio is nearby allies. But you always had to be careful too that you can't get sundered, which is why Lucio would be incentivized to split away from his teammates. There were just a bit too many unique special threats that could isolate June and his teammates away from one another, preventing the high fives. And Nubarak on their side will help things a bit.
Ooh, a Diablo ban as well will be coming through, so we're not going to have him initiating, as Nubarak is a strong hero for Alterac Pass, able to solo the objective phase. Do they go Muradin, I wonder, on the side? Actually, if I remember correctly, I think Lupus has a really good Garrosh. So we might see Lupus's Garrosh come out. I wonder if that's that. There's a lot of good displacement that we could see with Lucio trying to poke around and Nubarak trying to burrow in, but it is going to be the Muradin, and Slips will get that Hanzo again. I'm happy about Slip. If Slips gets the Hanzo again, I think that's great, and they actually could just round out their draft on Simplicity with another Thrall.
Yeah, honestly, they could. It's almost the same thing. This has to be in Storm's mind. And Nubarak is very vulnerable to Thrall. When he is pretty much the only reliable frontliner, Hogger kind of tends to goof off. So they can't go double backline now. Storm needs to take something on the front line as well, in my opinion. I don't know what. They are going double backline. This puts a lot of pressure on Lauber. And Nubarak is one of the more squishier frontliners. We're expecting a Thrall coming out here. It could also be the Kerrigan, who knows? That was banned earlier.
Oh, true. I do like that possibility. I wonder if the Falstad's grabbed also, because there was no panic button on Tomb of the Spider Queen. There's no way to really kind of push back the enemy. So I wonder if this Falstad, he might be... I mean, I guess you could say there was the slowing sands as like a gatekeeping tool, but it wasn't enough. We actually get a Genji, so Shimada Bros to the side of Simplicity. I'm actually feeling like Simplicity could take this one. I think they could actually continue their record here. The Genji to harass the Chromie in the backline, the Falstad, I think that's going to be really, really strong. What do you think about this, Grubby, as we're about to load on in?
Yeah, I think you nailed it when you mentioned the Falstad. That reset button now is there. Slowing Sands didn't seem enough, nor like a quadruple high five and then speed boost out. That wasn't going to work against what Simplicity had. So if they were going to go with Thrall, they would probably be too reliant on that 5 seconds of CC lockdown, trying to blow up a target, some of which requires their heroics via Dragon Arrow and Sundering. So instead, they are playing for an initial engage via Muradin and Blaze, but then also being able to clean up with things like Genji and Hanzo poke and Genji finishing, so that it's not entirely reliant on this very short window. Furthermore, Genji has a really good matchup into Falstad. Falstad doesn't have any interrupts for deflect, so Genji completely controls the one-on-one. And that's going to make it a bit harder for Falstad to do late-game satellite soaking on the top lane and bot lane.
Oh, thank you, Grubby. But you're not out of this just yet. I can't throw you away to the side like justing for a game. I gotta keep you in here. But let's introduce these teams. We got Storm Esports in the blue, Brandon on the Hog, or Lubber on the Anubarak, CPX on the Chromie, June on the Lucio, and Maka on the Falstad. Fire Mage. Lupus over here on the side of Simplicity will be on the Muradin, Porky on the Blaze, Wishing on the Brightwing, Slips to play the Hanzo, and Tiger JK on the Genji. I'm already looking at a Simplicity win here. I definitely think they can do it, being able to jump into the backline. But that false set, I think, from Maka is going to be a critical tool. Going into the auto attack build to start things out, Grubby, a little interesting there. The sudden jump in only auto attack false stats.
Yeah, and even though there's a lot of synergy, right, for Boomerang, if he gets Boomerang, that spell armor reduction, that synergizes really well with both Hogger and Chromie. Nonetheless, it's more like a, what do you intend to do with your hero? I feel like that's as big of an influence as what kind of damage type do you think you need in this draft. Now, auto attack is absolutely needed on Blaze and Muradin. Chromie does good damage, but you need an auto attacker to disincentivize Muradin and Blaze from getting too cheeky. It's also the best way to trade into a Genji, not being 100% reliant on some skill shots that can get deflect blocked. And the third reason is, nice try. The third reason is that, of course, Falstad is gonna wanna be soaking side lanes, and he's not gonna wanna be forced constantly to play in some kind of PvP, quest-soaking frenzy addiction. Just like we saw from Cassia on Cursed Hollow earlier in the best of 5, that by level 16, Bang only had 15 stacks of Valkyrie from level 1. And that's what happens on a macro map if you take a DPS that's forced to PvP. When you don't do that, when you play the right way, and you take camps, then you have like almost no stacks on it. Whereas Frequent Flyer, you always get those stacks just from doing the right thing, which is soaking.
I gotta watch Slips in like I need to rewatch this game with Slips because he's just landing perfect scatter arrows into the enemy. As Porky is going to be getting the phase shift from Wishing. June comes up here to try and push back Porky, but it's not gonna be a gank attempt. But meanwhile, in bottom lane, mid lane, excuse me, that will be first blood over the side of Simplicity as Genji solidifies the kill with the Swift Strike.
Incredible. Slips already 19 stacks by 2 minutes 15. Missed the scatter on the wall there. He's almost done, and already a kill, first kill again to Simplicity. Hogger camps are going to be up in 30 seconds.
And in that 30 seconds, we'll see the objective announced and available for contestation in the upper portion of the map. It will be 30 seconds of channel time necessary, and 2 jailers will be there to defend. We do have Lupus. He's dwarf tossing in. He actually doesn't have the dwarf block at level 1, so he's utilizing this dwarf toss just to close the distance. Tiger JK gets the agility phase shift from Wishing, and he's able to deflect and back away. No major threat, as Muradin checks the bottom lane for experience. And it's still really close between both teams, even with the initial kill to Simplicity.
The CPX in the winner's interview, in the halftime interview said he may just be a Chromie one trick. And so far, he is playing that Chromie. He's going to be aiming mostly for Hanzo whenever possible. You know what's funny? We never really see the Dragon Breath build. This is the highest win rate on Storm League. But in competitive, they're always getting the vision and the auto attack plus spell damage at 7.
I feel like there was one player this season of CCL that we have seen the W build from. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm thinking of a different league that I've been casting as well. But something comes to mind. I feel like we've seen W build early on in the season as the mid lane should be cleared out. I think null packs should be mitigated before much value to be found. Lupus does step in, which kind of threatens a little bit here as Genji and Hogger in bottom lane, Brightwing and Falstad in top. 7 talent here first for the side of Storm Esports, but the Simplicity members close that gap quite quickly.
As Anubarak Lobber stepped up on the point, Lupus went to stand still there. Lobber can just start the capture, and Lupus has to play active goalkeeping. And what's funny is, even though he does that, those beetles still took off 20% health. So if Lupus stops Lobber 4 times from doing that, nonetheless the guards will die just to passive beetle attrition.
So Lupus is like, oh, I might as well just auto attack these beetles and get rid of them, so they aren't just taking down those jailers. Both teams, I think they're rushing for 10 talent here before really focusing on the objective. The tanks just kind of having a back and forth with no one really winning out, as Lupus also has more sustainability against the Anubarak with that level 1. But Lauber does get the channel. He sneaks a few seconds. How many? 3?
Yeah, and 3 people came here to defend against him. Meanwhile, Mokka is getting top tower. This is the power of Anubarak on this map. Gaslow and Nova can do it as well, but then you have a Gaslow or a Nova. Ah! First blood for Storm. Get the kill on Genji. Nice job. And I do feel like this is partially a result of the chaos and the reprioritization that Anubarak forces.
I agree, absolutely. The Lauber's just been over here keeping Lupus from doing anything, and the damage into Genji, just enough. Looking at the builds from both sides, Anubarak's going to be going into this Burrow build at level 4 and 7. As he burrows in onto this Hanzo mid, slips, gets the agility, like an awkward angle, but he gets the agility just to increase any distance away from the enemy.
Yeah, smart jump. Recognizing Dragon Breath is probably going to go towards the right. Nice trade by Tiger JK into Mokka. Level 10 already reached for Storm. They're going to be going with Cocoon, Shockwave, Slowing Sands, Mighty Gust, and the Cocoon on Murden just to get more channels.
20 seconds remain, or 20 seconds remain as Lauber's unable to get the, excuse me, it's actually Lupus unable to get Lauber here. Tiger JK, he needs to step in he's got to make sure that he gets away from the Chromie damage, and we have 9.8 seconds left on the channel for the right-hand side. Does kind of seem like Storm Esports, they're rallying in map number 2 here.
Yeah, it does seem so. Ahead in level, even in kills, ahead in structures. Looking a lot better. It's always hard.
No!
Oh, wow, nice job, Simplicity. It's always hard to parse when the first game is so uneven, right?
Right.
We could like write them off entirely and be like, no chance for this team, they suck. And then it turns out maybe it was a lot about draft.
Good impale from Lauber there as Tiger JK is trying to find damage. And Lupus, he wants to channel this, but CPX should have a couple delays over the wall. There's another Sandblast, excuse me. June may be having an interrupt as well. And I think, I don't know, like I feel like Simplicity, what they should just do is they should just look for a good team fight, take down 1 or 2, then go for objective rather than just getting Omega delayed out and kind of not getting value anywhere else on the map.
Really, against Chromie, if she's well positioned, you don't get this objective positioning. Keep in mind that there is a asymmetry to the symmetry of the objective points. The left side top objective can be stopped by a Chromie, and the right side bottom objective can be stopped by a Chromie. So this is unfavorable first slot for Simplicity when it comes to where the objective could be between top and bottom. What they really need to do is kill tower. Not try to channel here. They need to kill tower. Now, having said that, Chromie is ignoring the tower defense because he is doing the interrupt. So I guess one thing leads to another.
A little bit. Blaze Porky steps into mid. Hogger doesn't find the bounce he's looking for. Gets one auto as we jump into top lane. Another Slips setup for a kill.
Another melee dragon arrow, basically doing a quarter or half-second stun. Is it half a second?
I believe it's half a second. Yeah.
200 damage, half a second stun, being the finisher
Shockwave?
again. Lupus. Oh, what happened there? That was weird.
Not 100% sure on that one. Must have been maybe like, actually, I would assume it's a staggering blow that kind of like knocked him mid-air, and that had some weird terrain collision, so he kind of bounced around rather than going over the wall.
Yeah, he was gonna jump over the mountain, and then Hogger sent him right back to the other side.
It's like those challenge climbing games, like the Get Over It or Jump King, where you make one small wrong move and you're just falling all the way to the bottom. But Lupus is a-okay in this situation. Technically, the members of Simplicity are ahead by a little bit of experience, and 13s are here for both sides. Nothing crazy from either side. Burning Beetles, Bronzebeard Rage, pretty standard 13s. Do want to point out June going into those heavy casters. He won't have a slow on his push-off, but he now has a 0.5 second stun.
Decent trade from Tiger JK into Mokka once again. A slight lead. Would have been a better lead for JK if it hadn't been auto-attack build, but auto-attack builds can fend for itself quite a bit better.
Slowing Sands are out. That was actually going to be canceled, and we have Blaze to go catch bottom soak. Tiger JK did rotate into mid. Hogger finding the north-south bounce here, kind of bouncing towards his side of the map, but this does also clear out the null pack against the Storm Esports member quite quickly is wishing we'll be able to use the Arcane Flare to clear out the wave. Man, it is something happening quite... I would say almost everywhere as I actually look into bottom lane and Hogger's like, oh, I gotta go down here and catch the soak.
Yes, little advantages being eked out here and there. Mocha has just been spamming attacks on the top forward, and that's really the biggest thing that's happened so far is that Mocha has his teeth in that forward. June, very risky. He gets the high five. He is actually fine, but that was scary with how far forward he was. Now, Bahamut, it's time.
Hi.
It is time. Let's start hearing. Let's start hearing from Storm.
And we go to Storm.
Objective.
Okay.
I'm going object.
Okay.
I'm getting it. Can we play around this now?
Yeah.
Use arrow. No arrow.
I'll stay here. Stay here.
Yeah.
Worst place.
Be ready to disengage.
From bottom,
Afterwards, we got it.
Okay, it's from bottom.
Yep.
See Blaze down here.
Cocooning outside, we just run. Just
Look
run.
at play. Okay.
Just run out.
We're good. Yeah, we got both.
Cooking.
Nice, good job.
Okay. Top should be kill.
Yeah.
Be careful for the
Finish
right
it
wing
and
set.
We can bot, so we don't see Blaze.
I'm a hover
Mer's
top.
here.
I don't think I can get the...
It's fine. Mer's has a bush here.
Yeah. Oh,
Murray is here. No stun.
nice.
Okay, Genya is no cooldowns. I'm gonna go mid June.
Yeah, going.
I'll stay top around here. Careful for the right wing engage here, Mokka, but I guess you have it.
Watch that CPX, I kinda wanna rotate.
Yeah,
We got
I'm
top
backing
now.
up.
Nice.
How's bottom looking like?
It's okay. I might get it.
I'm getting in the wave top.
I'm just gonna poke it down slow.
Yeah, that's fine.
Good information being shared there. Lobber kind of leading a little bit, but we did hear the voice of June from time to time making some healer or support calls of what he's able to actually provide. Oh wait, gank and bottom onto Porky.
Yeah, there is a bunker. Arrow was pretty good. I can see how that makes sense. The arrow could have been nice. A bunker not used. He knew that he was safe with wishing sport in. And the turnaround on unaverted.
June!
Big scatter, by the way. Slips is
that's-
lethal on that guy, man.
That's what I was saying at the start of the game. Slips has been landing so many good scatter off the sidewalls and getting like the entire cluster of scatters to hit that singular hero. As you just saw, June dropping 50% on his health from a singular ability of Slips. So that the angling on Slips, he knows his geometry. He should be a math teacher of some sort.
And he has gone for Giant Slayer. So it's all about that initial hit. He's not going for the RNG, hoping that some kind of BS secondary scatters also appears in relevant ways. It is a boss trade. The boss for Storm in the top lane and the boss for Simplicity in the bottom lane. Simplicity is down 2 forwards despite that nice little kill on Hager there. I don't think Storm is too worried about it, Bahamut.
No, I don't think Storm is. I think Storm is actually feeling pretty fine with the trade that they just had. And Hanzo will be in top lane to clear out that boss. He actually gonna rotate over to the null pack to just help out a little bit faster. 12 seconds on our second prison location to open up, so it'll be 3 jailers to defend each point. 40 seconds of total channel time necessary to summon the cavalry, whether it be from Vandar Stormpike on the left or Drekthar on the right. Let's see what happens. 1 to 4 in kills, but surprising, Storm Esports ahead in experience still.
Yeah, that's because they have more minion XP. They have 37.5k against 35k. That's the difference in XP. That is literally the difference. They've been soaking just a little bit more. Oh!
I blinked and Hogger was dead in mid apparently.
Wow.
Wait, arrow, they
nice
sidestep
dodge.
it. Good dodge, actually. And there's the gust, as we talked about in the draft, to just push back a scary moment. But Tiger JK, he deflects, he jumps in, he wants this. Time stop onto Tiger. That is the chronic conditions, or excuse me, the armor debuff one, as the wishing is going to be inside of the cocoon, but he gets out from Slips and gets the blink heal to Tiger JK immediately. Bunker down from the blaze. Porky low, needs to get out. He gets back in the bunker. Porky needs to jet propulsion away, and Newbrack tries to make a play, but June does go down to Slips once again. Here comes Tiger JK. He deflects and he gets
23!
the kill. What?
23 health twice.
Oh.
Oh, wow!
All right. CPX finds the trade.
So this was incredible. I want to see that. That's our game. That's our gameplay of the game. We need to have that in a replay now later. And 3 times over. That was sick. So you had Storm, they lost Hogger, okay, they decided to fight 4v5, nearly getting away with it too. Blaze nearly going down, Genji nearly going down. It turned against them though. Really, really cool fight.
Extremely fun matchup here. 20 talent here is seemingly going to come in first for Simplicity after the few kills they just got. Checking the boss timers for anyone wondering, 2 minute 39 on the top, 2 minute 21 on the bottom, and we have Nullpacks colliding through the mid lane fort on a sliver of HP on the side of Simplicity. Structure-wise, defensive-wise, the outer defenses, the tier 1s, if you will, for Storm Esports still all up, and with that bottom lane sitting around 20-25%.
Mid fort so low, Storm would love to take this down. They're doing so good structurally, even though they haven't done too good in takedowns. You always wonder, what's gonna win out? Teamfight kills or structural kills?
Well, in the late game, it's definitely going to be team kills with death timers because late game kills equal late game structures to follow, at least in my book. But Tiger JK, they make the rotation into bottom because the 20 talent tiers here. Huge arrow from Hanzo. Cocoon onto the Bright Wing, but Lauber steps so far up he couldn't really help out his allies. June and CPX go down. Wishing is able to get out of the Cocoon. Blaze has the channel. Cavalry might be to the side of Simplicity.
The Shimada brothers. I'm so happy to see them perform with such execution. It used to be all the rage. It wasn't that exciting then, but now it is so cool. We don't see them together all that much anymore. And it is being performed very well by Simplicity here. Lovely full reset X strike. He could have cast it again, but nobody left alive. That's a luxury issue, I guess. So the takedowns once again go towards the side of Simplicity with the double kill there on Chromie and Lucio. Hager getting farmed something fierce as well. That's the 4th death for Unaverted. Not easy for Hager to play into this composition. Especially Genji and Hanzo. Just they either outrange or outmobilize him. He has to follow up on Lauber's setup. A Cocoon on somebody. CC on somebody. I mean, Storm, they're still good structurally. Like, if they literally get any kill, that's bosses for them, that's keeps for them. But Simplicity is looking to sit behind the steering wheel and steer towards their 2nd map victory.
It may be a Monka steer or a Cecil steer, but it's definitely some sort of drive into the side of Storm Esports as the burrow from Lauber will go out. Look at Lupus just below us. He's waiting. Lands the Stormbolt. Is taking damage from the tower. Unstoppable. Wind Tunnel. But that Wind Tunnel is more of a disengage tool than anything else to clear out the cavalry through mid. Though I don't think Simplicity's done just yet. They really want to try and take down this mid lane fort as Tiger JK has to. Swift strike away. Hogger gets some bounces. The Null Pack doesn't get the fort. Bottom lane still pushing up. Top lane will be going down as Tiger JK solidifies the mid lane fort. I do want to point out, June did go House Party at level 20 for the percent-based healing. No mixing fire for amplified healing or healing reduction onto the enemy, which would be a great way to mitigate the right wing phase shifts. And no Summer Anthem for the unkillable status that we see from time to time.
For each ally affected by Crossfade, which is his basically the range within which he can heal and give movement speed, Lucio gains 8% increased healing.
Okay.
Very selfish talent. Wait, Crossfade is, yeah.
Okay,
He
I misread it. Yeah,
increased
sorry.
healing from all sources, which includes I5. Like, it literally just says gains increased healing, and Crossfade can be move speed. So it's a global effect. Like, that I assume would affect Regeneration Globe, Healing Fountain, passive regen, the healing from Amp It Up, the passive healing from Crossfade, and High Five. So you only take this if you're feeling very pressured, if you're feeling like you're taking a lot of poke damage, you're taking a lot of not poke damage, like absolute bulldozer burst damage. And that's kind of fair. He's got 3 deaths, Ogre has 4, everyone else only has 1. A very selfish talent. It doesn't go high 5 enemies. It doesn't give unkillable to allies. Just more healing for self. And for what it's worth, the win rate of it is pretty good in Storm League. But we never really see this in competitive normally.
Bosses are traded, and the clear is traded as well. Simplicity clearing bottom, Storm clearing top. Null Pack in mid lane was already grabbed by the Blaze earlier. Lupus on the Muradin is anchoring forward for his team, kind of in between the Genji and the Blaze, so that he can make either a rotation into the engagement or down into the bottom lane. But now Tiger JK acting as that ward, that sentry, the vision for his team, seeing the enemy, and okay, CPX is like, I'm going to check this bush with an ability rather than my face, and that is going to be forcing the Genji to dash away. Objective phase up. We'll see if Storm Esports can grab this.
Small little addendum from Twitch chat, thank you. It says he gains increased healing, but it is dubious wording, and chat says he gives more healing with high five and amp it up and so on.
Aha!
Right?
So we're both right.
Well, I am wrong. Was, but not anymore, thanks to Twitch chat. Just listen to them and you won't be wrong anymore.
No, that's how I made it to Grandmaster easily. I just read Twitch chat. So we have the fight will break out around the objective. Lupus taking some damage. Tiger JK getting hit with the cocoon. Since the cocoon's used, Brightwing doesn't need to worry about that anymore. Wind Tunnel. Once again, Wind Tunnel being used as a disengage tool, but they're going to try and blow up onto Tiger JK, but he self-cleanses with the X-Strike. He gets a full reset. It's a new break to go down. Tiger JK X-Strikes again. This is a disengage tool for Tiger JK as we have Brandon looking for the flank on this Hogger, but Hogger needs to be careful. Lupus gets the Dwarf Toss away, has the level 1 extra healing June to get a little bit of channel on this objective, though I think Simplicity, they tap well, they reset, and they go for some sort of kill or some sort of channel.
This Genji, it was insane. They used everything, but it was a bit weirdly layered, and Genji actually survives, gets the X-Strike, gets the kill on Lauber. You know, Lauber would have probably survived if he had one more regen globe. That would have given him 500 more health.
I mean, you're right.
Everything could have looked different.
I thought you were making a funny there for a second, but then I look over it and I'm like, yeah, one more regeneration glove would have given a little extra health to the Anubarak. So channel in favor for Simplicity. Lupus does delay things out with some storm bolts, but he recognizes the enemy is here and doesn't want to overextend as the Anubarak just now respawns. The map is looking equal structurally. When it comes to kills, though, it's 2-11. A little bit of a lead experience-wise for Simplicity as they've got that 23rd level. And we're on the road for a lot. I feel like today's just been a lot of long matches, Grubby. A lot of tension between these teams.
People realize what they need to do. Suddenly there's a kind of a sense of finality and a sense of importance to the games where it's not just you're feeding general goodness into a black hole of fortune. It's like, no. We need 2 3-0s, or we need 2 victories here in these last 2 play days, and that's what's going on. Brandon, unaverted, is getting the high five. He gets the shockwave, minus 15 armor on Genji. Genji's getting buffered by the winds. Tiger JK with the X-Strike, and he survived. He keeps getting away with big heists.
Hanzo got cocooned. He goes in with the bullseye at level 20 to try and get the stun, and that will be the objective, stalled out at 6.4 seconds left to go. Look at Tiger JK. Look at Wishing. They want to make some sort of engagement flank deal happen. Tiger JK on the far side of the wall can jump in. He goes in. Looking at CPX. Anubarak burrow charges. That's the X-Strike to solidify the kill. Maka does go down. It's a triple kill to the side of Simplicity as Lauber gets chunked. He's just standing still, unfortunately. Yep. Channel from Porky as the rest of Simplicity moves to start dealing significant structural damage, taking down the shielding of Vandar Stormpike. 20 armor by each keep.
Yeah. That was just sick. You saw Tiger JK standing there. It only took one Slips scatter to bring Chromie low enough to activate Sleeper Agent Tiger JK, and he went in, and he got the double kill on Falstad and Chromie.
Oh my god, the bullseye! Sorry.
Yeah, it's sick. No, it's sick. You're right. But unaverted survives.
Brandon gets out of there. Will Hearth out. Here comes the cavalry. Will push out the bottom lane. 15 seconds on average for the death timers here. So Simplicity, it's not a free win. It's not just wait for the cavalry and end. It's wait for the cavalry, take down a second keep. Actually, take down the second keep now, and then get the cavalry to push into end game. But here comes Chromie, Lucio, and Falstead. Anubarak 6 seconds away.
Double keep down. Cavalry coming. How many Diablos health do cavalry have? About 1.8 Diablo per cavalry. So altogether, it's going to be 5.4 Diablos of cavalry bearing down on you. You never want to see that on a Sunday morning.
Oh no, I would never want to have more than one Diablo bearing down on me. God forbid you go up against an Abathur, but here comes Vandar Stormplike trying to defend. We have a Cocoon onto the Genji that will stop. Wind Tunnel from the Falstead, more of a defensive tool than anything else just to push back Simplicity. Though Anubrek finds a great burrow charge, follow-up from Lucio. They get the kill, but Simplicity, they want to go lethal. They're clicking on the core. You see the pings, the shockwave, the bunker is going to expire. 1,000, 9,000 HP on the core. No one on the side of Simplicity is falling quick enough. Slips drops in a massive arrow, and somehow Simplicity kills the Falstead, and not somehow, but with determination and skill, Simplicity shut down the second map in the second best of 5 of the day. Simplicity on the road for a 3-0 victory.
And that's what they need, Bahamut. That's exactly what the chef ordered, and they're here to deliver that on a silver platter to themselves, I guess. Weird metaphor you're using there, Simplicity, but we'll accept it. Both of us will accept that.
I'm hungry. I get it. And we're all. It's been a long day of CCL casting. We're all starting to think about food. But yeah, is a really, really good game number 2 for Simplicity. Some shining moments of Storm Esports as we are looking at some of the stats right now. God, look at Wishing's healing. Wishing's healing is nearly, I think it actually is double of June's.
Is it though?
That is. Oh, okay, all right. My math teacher, I think it's like 1.999 times.
It's 0.4% off double. So not quite. Not quite. You're being a little bit too complimentary of Right Wing's healing there. It was only 100 and it was only 199.5% of June's healing.
How could I have messed up? How could I have messed up as a caster? Let's take a look at some of the highlight moments from this past game, as this is going to be one of the dive moments in the bottom lane, but this is one of the dive moments that did not work out for the side of Storm Esports, because Wishing comes in so often with these phase shifts perfect. I peeked over at chat at one point, and someone in chat was like, how is Simplicity winning here? It is Wishing. Wishing is the MVP, just keeping so many people alive on the side of Simplicity in these dire moments that even as I was doing the play-by-play, I was like, oh, Simplicity loses someone here, and it's like, no, Wishing comes through, phase shift, blink heal, all on point.
Yeah, really sick. This is how Tiger JK got away with so much. Look at this. He's dropping low. There's a cleanse just in case to keep Tiger JK alive. Tiger JK is playing melee. He even jumps for shuriken resets into a Nubarak. That's the absolute state of things. Unlucky hammers sometimes for Mokka, where he was unable to finish off a blaze that got in a bunker. It scatters like that from Slip that just absolutely took the wind out of the sails of Storm.
I think Slips is arguably one of the best Hans. I mean, of course, I say that and he gets sandblasted by CPX right there.
So bad.
But, yeah, he's so bad. But I mean, he really was playing that Hanzo extremely well. I like that, even though there was a lot of point blank arrows. This one actually being from afar, a nice slow down right there. We can really see how the X strike is lined up, and Hanzo, the Shimada Bros coming through, and Wishing in the backline is just like, hey, I'm in a cocoon, just hit me when you can. This was another great moment here where they dive onto CPX. Look at the scatter from Slips as well.
Yeah, it was just the scatter that hit like twice. That's enough. Note how all 3 X's of the X strike from Tiger JK hit. All 3 hit. CPX not able to anticipate the direction. Note how Lauber didn't move there at all. And the deflect from Genji taking down, let's see who was on Falstad, Mokka on Falstad. Now, Bahamut, I have a challenge for you, and I have a challenge for Twitch chat. Which hero that Simplicity has been using is going to get banned this time by Storm in order to try and reverse their fortune? Name one.
I don't know if it's a ban or if they take it away immediately, but I was literally going to say, you do not let Slips get Hanzo. That is, like, I don't want to say like Slips is the reason that Simplicity is winning, because there's many layers to this casserole dish that is Simplicity's playstyle. But Slips, he is key and critical for big burst damage, and we've only seen one hero of Slips. He still has other heroes that he can go on to that we don't even know about.
I thought you were gonna say Brightwing on Wishing, but I get you. I feel you very much on that. No, don't go changing your mind now.
I won't, but you do make a very good point. I agree with you as well.
I'm not making the point. The hypothetical you in my mind was making the point. I thought you were gonna make the point. I'm not making it.
I thought you thought that. I thought that we thought that we were going to get ready for a break here on HeroesCCL. Before we go to a break, we're going to go ahead and let you know that you can hit ! prize pool in chat. Yes, I know I said at 12,000 we get Springy on stream. Unfortunately, there have been some technical issues that have stopped us from getting this going for all of you. Oh, there it is. He just popped in. Thank you for the $12,000. No, we promise. Maybe it'll be next weekend, maybe it'll be later today. We're not 100% sure, but we will do our best to try and get Justin back on the broadcast. Maybe some Springy as well. But as I said, if you'd like to donate towards the prize pool, we have pushed beyond $12,000 today. We're at $12,350 because of your generous donations to HeroesCCL and your support and love for this league. So thank you all for supporting, watching, and enjoying HeroesCCL. So as I said, we're going to take a short little break. When we come back, map number 3, will Simplicity make a 3-0 happen? Will Simplicity find their first victory in HeroesCCL Season 4, or does Storm Esports rally and start the reverse sweep? Either go get your brooms or go get ready for a quick 3-0. We'll see you in a little bit here on HeroesCCL, presented by Wisdom. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to HeroesCCL, presented by Wisdom. My name's Bahamut, joined by not only Grubby, but also Justing. We got you back in the mix. We finally got you, well, I mean, I know you've been doing some boss battles. You've been fighting some street sharks that have been tearing up the neighborhood. It's really not jawsome whatsoever what they've been doing, but we're glad to have you back. We're glad to have a lot more stable connection for you. So, out of curiosity, let's check in with our friends here. We had a nice little break right there. We're getting ready for map number 3. And usually I ask what you guys are up to on the break, but what I want to ask here, most importantly, is what has Springy been up to on the break, Justing?
Springy's getting some tuna treats. That's what it is for the 12K. Here she goes. Look at her go.
Oh
so
my
as you can
God.
tell, the mechanics are amazing. Watch this. She goes for a big bite there.
Wow.
Wow, that's some tuna. Gonna
That's a
throw some
solid
on the
10
table
tier,
for later.
Yeah,
Gives-
I mean,
Go
Justing,
ahead.
as we all know with cats, you need to spread out the food for later on to go and even dogs too, like Bandit, he'll make a mess with things so that way he has an excuse to later on go, well, clean up around the kitchen. It's beautiful what Springy's doing for you, Justing.
Yeah, she's one of the best cats at eating tuna, I'd say. She may have dropped about half of it back on the plate, but I assure you, by the end of the video, all the tuna is gone. She won't leave a speck left.
Well, we do appreciate everyone supporting HeroesCCL. I did say that we would get Springy on stream today or next week, and we got it today. So thank you all so much, seriously, for your generous donations to the HeroesCCL prize pool. If you would like to donate towards the prize pool, ! prize pool in chat. But all of that aside, we're here. We got the 3 of us ready to start talking about map number 3, and we can kind of update everyone at home as to where we're going to, which could be the final map of the day, the final map of the entire weekend. It is going to be Simplicity, for the 3rd map in a row, choosing to take us to Towers of Doom. Now, Justing, Towers of Doom, one of my favorite maps to cast, one of my favorite maps to potentially end a series on. What are you thinking about? What are your thoughts as you have been sitting back watching these 2 teams battle out in the last 2 maps?
Yeah, some of it's been a bit of a slideshow, but the one thing that I've taken is that Simplicity with their new roster is looking way scarier than they were before. Especially when we did jump into comms, I was able to hear that. Tiger JK leading the troops, everyone being really on the same page, and it felt like everyone just really excited to be there. Everyone really excited to kind of put on a show for everyone at home on the new Simplicity roster. They definitely look a lot stronger right now, so I'm excited to see if they're going to be able to 3-0 Storm and maybe start mounting a comeback within the season itself. You want to peak right before the gauntlet? Maybe this new roster is what Simplicity is needed.
Well, we'll see if Simplicity can do it here on Towers of Doom, Grubby, because we have loaded on into our map number 3. I honestly feel, Grubby and Justing, that Simplicity could do this in a 3-0. I think Storm Esports really likes to ride that high of winning and getting good fights and stuff. And Storm Esports, they've gotten 3 kills over 2 maps, whereas Simplicity, I think, if my memory serves me right, they have 24 kills through the last 2 maps of play, Grubby.
Yeah. They've been well protected by Wishing.
Yeah.
They've been well protected by Blaze, by Porky on the Blaze as well. And that kind of leads us to the question, when you think about it, there are 3 picks that have been very useful for Simplicity so far. Blaze, Brightwing, and Hanzo. I asked chat, who do you think is going to be the most likely to get banned out by Storm in their first 2 bans? If you had to pick one, Is it Blaze, Brightwing, or Hanzo? And 70% of chat said it would be Brightwing. That should get banned out. Wishing, absolutely phenomenal on the saves there. Let's see if that's going to be a thing. Of course, there are many priorities, and it cannot be guaranteed. But let's see if that second ban will be a Brightwing or...
It is going to be first pick priority to Storm, so there is the opportunity for Storm if they want June to get the Brightwing. We could potentially see that as there will be the target onto Lucio. And Maka being targeted, Junkrat as well.
Seems strange. Mostly
yeah,
June
I'm
has been
scratching my head.
interested in picking up Lucio. Okay, so they wanted the Brightwing themselves. So
That makes sense.
chat is the most right they could be with the way the question was asked. So good job, chat.
Good job. I'm proud of you, chat. You all deserve yourself a pizza. Justin, what are your thoughts on the bans and potential picks we should see?
The Brightwing first pick's really strong. I like that a lot, especially with the priority that we've seen from it. And just in general, Brightwing has seemed like she's became, if not the best, within the top 2 or top 3 supports right now, just hands down. Every time you see her picked, it just looks scary. The point-and-click CC, the ability to save people, is very, very strong. Hanzo's picked again, so we'll see if the Dragon Arrows are able to be on point. And Blaze foregone for the Dahaka on Towers of Doom. There's a chance that they're slightly worried about some shenanigans from Storm. It's not likely for them to pick Vikings with the Brightwing picked up, but there is the possibility for June to flex around and play it if he wants.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, June, what was it, when he was on Sidestep Kings, played a 3-stack Vikings on Battlefield of Eternity in top lane, and I think it actually worked for them. I think they did win that game. But a Tracer ban coming out from the side of Simplicity, Grubby. Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, CPX has been on Chromie twice.
Yeah.
Simplicity must know that there's going to be likely a change in strategy. Brightwing was stolen, and she also shuts down Tracer, which is why Tracer could never come out yet. Chromie didn't work twice, so they knew there would be a basically a segue, a pivot into something mobile and scary. He likes Tracer. It makes a lot of sense.
You know what, I've casted Wishing in the past, and there's actually a hero that he's really, really, really good on. That
Say
you
it
don't see
before
too
it gets
often.
picked. Quick.
Malfurion.
Nice.
I was trying to build up the story, but yeah, you are right. I need to make sure anyways. Malfurion, Anubrak, really like that for Simplicity actually here, Justin. But we are going to get into the last 3 picks of the draft. Let's get your thoughts on what could be and what will be.
Yeah, it's strange to see them banning the Tracer when they had the option to pick it with the Malf if they wanted it. So that kind of looks like maybe Simplicity not a big fan of playing the Tracer themselves, as we have seen that paired with the Malfurion quite a bit. Seeing that picked though is cool. It's something that the Malfurion is becoming a little bit more priority, as we've seen this weekend. We have Greymane Genji picked up for Storm. I think their last 2 picks could have been mostly anything. Brightwing Diablo Blaze is very scary. I'm not sure if we'll see something like a Malthael as the last pick. Something flexible. Maiev is still available, but they're most likely going to want something that deals some percent damage. So there's the chance for Maiev, as it is Tiger JK likely to be the one playing it. Malthael would be something that would also make sense if you were to ban the Tracer so that you don't get kited really bad. See what he does pick up. It is Thrall, so another tank killing damage dealer, melee. So mostly to be expected from Tiger JK. Seems like he's really been prioritizing those melee heroes I mean, Genji's not a melee hero, but it kind of fills that slot. Yeah. It's very Tiger JK-esque at this point from seeing what he's been playing. And it makes a lot of sense. Into Diablo Blaze, you really do need something that can deal with him. Deal with both of them with their high HP pools. Thrall does that very well. You have Malfurion with the CC as well. Pretty much CC across the board for Simplicity's draft. On the side of Storm, you have Brightwing, Diablo, and Blaze with a lot of crowd control. But there's nothing that is going to be an easy target outside of maybe that Thrall or Simplicity to really focus down. And the Genji now into a solo ranged Hanzo makes his job much more difficult on the Genji. They have so much CC, if he gets caught by just one of them when he's getting a little bit aggressive into the backline, he can easily be chain CC'd and taken down. They also have the Cocoon from Anub'arak to be able to deal with the Genji. And Greymane is basically the lone DPS that is going to be assigned to deal with Lupus on the Anub'arak for Simplicity. Outside of that, Genji does very little damage to him, as he does have a lot of armor, spell armor, and shields. So Simplicity's comp looks slightly better to me overall, but the core of Brightwing, Diablo, and Blaze can't be underestimated for Storm. They're going to need level 16s on Thrall in particular if they're going to want to be able to really win team fights. So expect Storm to do pretty well early on, and maybe Simplicity can take it near the second half of the game.
Well, we'll see what happens at 10 talent tiers, because on the side of the Raven Lord, we've got Storm Esports looking to get their brooms out, looking to start a reverse sweep through Towers of Doom. Brandon on the Blaze, Lauber on the Diablo, CPX on the Genji, June on the Brightwing, and Maka on the Greymane. Over on the side of the Gravekeeper, looking for their first series victory and potential first 3-0, Simplicity. Lupus on the Anubrak, Porky on the Dahaka, Wishing on the Malfurion, Slips on the Hanzo, and Tiger JK to play that Thrall. I like the Thrall a lot here, actually, Grubby, because it also offers up some really good poke. Yeah, Maiev does have some poke as well with her Spirit of Vengeance. Fan of Knives, Vault of the Warden is also just a good disengage or self-cleanse, but I do like Tiger JK's Thrall that we've seen so far in the matchup today, specifically on Tomb of the Spider Queen. I'm looking at a Simplicity win. I think they can take this 3-0. Slips is back on the Hanzo. We'll see how Lupus does on a Nubrak. But of course, Wishing on, as I mentioned, a really strong Malfurion.
Yeah, let's see how he is when he's not on the Brightwing. Malfurion is a good aggressive support. He's decent at trade wars. Oh my god. Tiger J killed, am I right?
Yeah.
So he gets taken out first blood for Storm. Malf is most impressive when he's just allowed to play his own game and he has amazing aggressive CC via Twilight Dream and Emerald. Oh, Daka getting attacked in the top lane. Quite a lot of damage on him from Genji and Blaze. CPX bullying all the solo laners. But Malf can feel weak when there is a kind of hard engage. There can be a Cursed Bullet X-Strike. There can be a go for the throat, Dragon Blade on the back line. We don't know exactly what it's gonna be, but Malf can sometimes struggle with that.
Yeah.
Moonfire does heal multiple people, multiple procs if you Moonfire multiple people at the same time. Against Brightwing, it's quite likely to get large Moonfire procs because people tend to kind of cluster up, so this can be nice.
Looking at the Diablo at level 1, does have that Soul Shield as well. Hanzo on his 5th stack of the Scatter Arrow. Dahaka going into the Enhanced Agility, picking up his first stack. Also, Enhanced Agility changes your movement speed buff to 5 seconds after you leave a bush. And right now he's got 122%. You get 2% stacking up to 140% total. So it's 10% faster than mount speed. And last but not least to note when it comes to talents, or at least questing talents, we got Genji with the Shuriken Mastery for CPX. And now look at Tiger JK. He's like, all right, the enemy team, they've been making some aggressive rotations. I'm going to play it safe here. I'm not going to step too far out in this mid.
Spider senses were tinkling in overdrive. They were tinkling so hard that he was shook with absolute foreboding. The spirits warned him of going there, and he is totally fine now.
Porky kind of selling the idea that he's going to invade this, but Brandon's here with Maka, and Porky says, no, I'll play respectfully here and just back away. I wonder if Porky just lets those go through positions for the channel here. But actually, no, Porky will go for the clear onto the camp. We have a slight experience advantage to the side of Storm Esports as our first altar phase is up and available. Tiger JK rotating up to get the top right. These objective phases have global vision, so the members of Storm Esports know that Tiger JK are on the right side. The members of Simplicity knows that Brightwing just got left side. And the assumption is that Brightwing TPs or floats her way down into this mid-skirmish where we should see the big brawl break out.
This is how they try to get the big double cap. Delay Thrall a couple of times, then start rotating. It gives them a 5 versus 3 and it gives them 4 points. The power of Blaze. Oh, nice polymorph to interrupt the drag ton.
Burrow into the ground from Porky. Lobber's the new target. Face shift from Brightwing will be coming through, and now Brightwing is on that route as well. Drag lands from the Dahaka onto Lobber, who gets the Shadow Charge onto Tiger JK.
Oh, 6
Tiger
life!
JK, he just needs a Q. He needs a... Oh, he lands the skill shot and gets a stack on the level 4.
Yeah, which one does he care more about? You know, I guess the kill. That was 6. 6 HP on Diablo, and Tiger JK hitting him with that route. Almost a perfect save there from June.
Good call from Simplicity to make the rotation into the Sapper camp while the Diablo was dead for a few seconds. Slips continuing to build up his stacks. That will be the Sappers going in, getting the sidewall and a little bit of gate damage as well. Haka back in the double soak. He's at 2 stacks, so 124% movement speed. And looks like Tiger JK did miss one of his Frost Wolves or Feral Spirits as it is reset to 0.
Aw. At least he got the kill on Diablo.
At least he got the
before.
flashy kill, you know?
Yeah.
Ooh, Wisdom Duelist for the Greymane.
That's greedy, man.
That's mean.
That tends to be something most people end up regretting.
Like me playing Redemption Hanzo or Convection Chaos players. Drag from Dahaka, here comes June with the phase shift. There's a root underneath Lauber. June tries to back away. He's around 50%. Brandon with the oil slick. Drag from Dahaka. He's got the feeding frenzy. That's how Dahaka is able to land these, is able to utilize so many drags. Also, there's that passive value of Feeding Frenzy that increases the drag duration from 1.75 seconds to 2.25 seconds, and an extra half second in Here's a Storm can feel like an eternity.
Gotta say, man, Porky must feel like it's quite a cathartic experience being able to do so well in Blaze and Dahaka in the last games and now, after basically getting his collective teams ass handed to themselves pretty much the whole season.
Yeah.
Porky's looking good now with his drags, with his Blaze support plays in the game 1 and game number 2. Great jet propulsions. Having this new roster must feel good.
It's looking, I mean, we can definitely see the confidence of Simplicity soaring through all these matches. Storm Esports, I'm not counting them out just yet. Blaze is still pushing up top lane. Thrall trying to soak mid. Pentalentiers will be through for both the sides in just a second. And Hanzo at 17 stacks. Probably the longest I think it's ever taken Slips to finish out his... I guess this is the third game we've ever seen of him, but the longest in 3 games that it's taken him to finish Scatter, which still, I mean, we're 6 minutes in. Still not that bad.
Look at the Diablo call out on the screen. 559, 604. 2 quests, one reaching level 10, the other having the 100 souls. Almost perfect synchronicity.
Ooh, wait,
Here's one
Burrow.
altar.
Cocoon. Greymane goes in. There's an arrow from Slips. There's the Sundering from Tiger JK. June gets dragged. Maka rolls away. June gets the blink heal. And that's 2 very low members. Lauber just tries to start burninating the enemy, but there's really... Oh, I was going to say there's no one low. Dahaka goes down. Go for the throat from the Greymane, utilized right there. And it seems like Brandon will get the channel. Hanzo poking out, does have the scatter done now.
Storm did some dark magics there. That was an unholy blessing bestowed upon Greymane and many others. Really cool footwork. Mokka dropped to 100 health or so, but this time Blaze and Brightwing are on their side. Part of the formula of winning, part of the ingredients for the formula of winning for Simplicity in the last game. And that's how they get these miraculous escapes. Really good movement as well. You can see Dahaka, Porky there trying to shark for that kill on Greymane. But the tables had turned and he became the new target.
Oh, how the turns have tabled here for the members of Simplicity, but also for Storm Esports, they've been having some flashy moments. They do have the experience advantage in all of this. Brandon on the Blaze to grab this top lane Sapper Camp. Maka to come up as well. 3 stacks on the Wiz and Duelist. There's a Jet Propulsion onto Porky. There's the dive in with the Dark Flight. Porky does have that Dark Swarm, which allows him to move through enemies. He's going to pop the Isolation, and Porky gets popped as well. Now, what does Simplicity gain while so many members rotated to the top lane for Storm? Seemingly nothing.
Yeah, hope you guys are doing well down there, because I'm against 4 people and they just used 6 heroics on me. What are you guys doing? Oh, you're 3-man lane clearing a minion wave? Not even attacking towers? Oh, shake my SMH. As Tiger JK gets killed again, that means that Frostwolf pack is reset, if it even had anything. It's all Storm right now. They're absolutely vibing. They're getting kills on the top and the mid lane. Dahaka has not been able to do double laning, and in fact, even Tiger JK, who's trying to pick up the slack in the center, is being bullied.
It's fallen apart on the side of Simplicity. Maybe, just maybe, Storm Esports did go grab their brooms in the break that we just had. Slips poking on the far side of the wall. 7 stacks on the Wiz and Duelist for the Greymane, 4 on that Dahaka, and at this point, yeah, this seems like it's a free channel for the side of Storm Esports. It'll be 36-24 in core HP. And for anyone who's just like, oh man, we're going to a game number 4, it's Towers of Doom. I mean, we could hit 16, we could hit even 13s, and everything could swap to the side of Simplicity. Or we could hit that power spike still, and Storm Esports can continue to hold. We'll have to see who gets the final shot here on Towers of Doom, because for me, it's always anyone's game.
Yeah, don't count your money yet until you're cashing in on the final cannonball in the core. Towers of Doom is a fickle mistress or master, because I don't think only mistresses are fickle. Sometimes masters can be really fickle as well. It's definitely a fickle map.
And
Saved.
I'm waiting just to see this bottom lane really quickly, because there's so much rotation. We have Lauber, who's a little out, just use the Shadow Charge to managed to, he uses the Shadow Charge to get closer to his allies.
Just how fast is Dahaka with that enhanced agility?
Right now he's 130.
So fast.
So he's mount speed when he taps the bush for 5 seconds, and he still has another 10% to gain. There's going to be a Sundering onto Brandon, but June... No! Okay, I was about to say June. If June gets away, that's just criminal. But it's not the case. 4-3 in kills, and a little experience gained to the side of Simplicity. Still a solid level lead to Storm Esports. It's a double altar phase. Usually it's traded. Do you want to try comms here or maybe later?
Yeah, I don't mind. Just kind of hearing from Storm at this time, since they're doing the best so far. I think it'll be fun. Let's go.
Into Storm we go.
They have to leave.
Okay,
Alright,
we're
gonna
mid
pressure
forward
top, right?
Get this, pressure this. They're greedy. They're overseeing.
Yep, they're greeting. We can get both caps here.
Yeah,
maybe.
we have to get this. If they're
Yep.
greedy to get.
I mean, it's a capping.
Yeah, go.
Yep, we should get both.
Yeah.
Hanzo might arrow me though. We'll see.
Oh,
No, he
gosh,
doesn't.
sorry. My bad.
Get out mid. Let's get 16.
Oh, he dug mid. No.
Okay.
Do you want me to play bot
We
and
go
then you guys
top
play
again.
up?
Sure.
That
Yeah.
works out.
Oh, we need to find them though. They could.
No, we don't need to
fight
find them.
top side.
I'm not showing it. They don't
But
know.
I
we
do
shouldn't-
want
we
to
shouldn't
get
do
bot
that.
back with 16.
We can chill a bit.
They're here.
Alright.
A noob's here, yeah.
I'm gonna start hitting bot. I'm gonna start hitting bot.
We shouldn't. Just hide behind the gate.
No, go ahead, bot then.
Oh, careful.
Yeah, Grayman go bot.
Okay.
I guess I'll get
No,
mid.
way
Mid
easy
late.
with it.
Yeah,
They're
just-
moving. They're moving. Okay. They might rotate all bottom.
The Hawker's on the
Careful,
top
arrow.
cave. Do you see? He's
Oh,
alone
yeah,
here.
yeah. Tell me.
I'm
when.
coming. Cap bottom. You get.
Some shot calling coming out from June. CPX in there communicating as well as what he's seeing on vision. And you heard Brandon on that Blaze was just kind of saying, I'm out of vision, not really showing. And he was working on the bottom lane trying to get that bell tower regained to the side of Storm Esports. And 16s will be hit. It's even talent tiers. This is where Simplicity should be able to start gaining some footing in the kills, and we'll have to see what happens. Next altar phase here, Grubby, is triple. Top, left, and right, and bottom of the map.
Giant Slayer, Epicenter, Elongated Tongue, Isira's Gift, and Alpha Wolf. Without the quest, though, Simplicity is trying to turn it back now. But without the root CDR, they won't be able to get Blaze.
Blaze is jumping in and out of the bunker, trying to clear out the sapper camp. We do have the objective phase up here. In the next 15 seconds, Dahaka in the top lane has the brush dog if he really needs to engage with his teammates. I'm just checking really quickly, 44 seconds on the boss. But Dahaka double soaking. He's at 7 stacks right now.
June with the face out, not going for the vulnerable polymorph. They're still trying to work on killing the fort. Remember they said they called that greeting? They got 4 tower shots for losing this tower. Let's see if that actually turns against them now. Because they don't have this fort, they're getting 10 shots
no.
against them.
Lauber doesn't get the phase shift. I thought that would have come through in time from June, but I think that was a drag from Dahaka. Yeah, it's on cooldown. Porky setting up the kill into the Genji, and now this is a 26-11 in core HP. 10 shots went into the side of Simplicity just now, and only 10 shots going into Storm Esports, Simplicity only taking 3 damage. And that laugh that you just heard, ladies and gentlemen, that is the global signifier that boss is up and available.
So I'm thinking here. Oh, hold that thought. Dahaka getting attacked.
He's
Porky
fine.
getting away. So I'm just thinking, the decision that Storm made, they gave up the fort to get 4 shots. If you get 4 shots and your opponent doesn't, that's an 8-shot advantage. So they got 8 shots out of that. Let's say 8-shot advantage.
Porky's gonna be
Then-
late to this one. Sorry,
Oh yeah.
but they get a kill.
Yeah. I cannot finish that thought for sure. They go for the bunker. Cocoon on Brightwing. Brandon unaverted. I'll be going down.
Unaverted goes down. June has the phase out. There's a blink heal, and Brandon will go down to the scatter. June, though, able to get away because Lauber did use his body as a blink target. So Remain to go to bottom lane, and 26-7. If Porky was a little faster on the rotation, maybe they could have invaded onto that.
Oh wow, this is really good for Simplicity.
Yeah.
So because Simplicity got the bottom tower, they took a situation where 3 altars, which are worth 12 shots, they got 3 altars are worth 12 shots, right? Yeah.
Yes, 4 times 3.
Usually.
Yes,
And then it was
usually.
worth 10 versus 3, so that's 13. They got 10 out of 3, which is a 7-point advantage. Yeah, it was in the end really good by Simplicity to kill bottom tower and even give up an altar, because that got them the 10 versus 3, which is 7-point advantage, so that's a 14-point differential if you give that over. Simplicity playing 5-head. It shows really how bottom bell tower is so gosh darn important.
Yeah.
And how Storm, while leading, should not have played for altar points, and you should always, always, always defend your bottom altar. Oh, that was so close.
He was so tried so close. Cocoon onto the Grey Mane. Diablo's getting very low. He's got 42 souls. Lobber goes down 2 slips. X-Strike from the Genji comes through. Lupus burrows away, has some shielding, as this is Brandon, Maka. June gets dragged. Now there is the bell tower firing against Simplicity, but June is still going to go down. Thrall isn't even in the mix, ladies and gentlemen.
gosh.
He's over in mid, just doing mid. Wait, is Thrall coming in? Okay, I thought he was going to be trying to come in and look for like the flank Sunder, but no Sunder available, and it would have been too late of a rotation. Overall, double kill, really well played. Simplicity clawing back in this. I wouldn't even say clawing back. They are fighting back in this latter half of Towers of Doom.
Clawing can be better than fighting sometimes. It depends how vicious the fighting is.
Oh,
Are
true,
nails
yeah.
allowed? So,
Yeah,
but
like
this is fantastic by Simplicity. They got back so big. They were like 7 against 26 or something.
Yeah.
They're 7 against 13. Just kind of been winning the last couple of fights. The reason Thrall was late, by the way, he did do a sundering on Brightwing that interrupted the phase shift on Diablo before, which is why Diablo never got that Z.
Thank you. I was like, where is Tiger JK? I will say this, Porky does get top right. Bottom lane just now reconverted, and there is a window, not reconverted, regained to Simplicity. There is a window where you, or wait, am I misreading this? I am misreading this, sorry. Top lane just went over. Bottom lane, I thought it was still gaining the HP back, but I think we see a trade on bell tower shots, though. If that's the case, Simplicity is threatened by boss.
By future core, yeah. Future boss, that's true. But it has been taken away relatively recently. There's 2 minutes left.
Drag a Hellgate forward. There's the burrow onto the ground. Actually, if Simplicity can get the left side altar, they win this. Isolation will go out. There's the big arrow from Hanzo as well. There's a sundering from the Thrall. June and friends are just trying to back away. Lobber pops the lightning breath and he will fall. Porky with a full bar of healing over time will get it. He's polymorphed. We currently have the bunker zoning back a few. Wishing with the channel. Wishing doesn't even care. He just wants to go for the channel, but X-Strike from Genji delays things out. June is getting low. Porky is going to be falling here, and that's Greymane going in for the throat. It is going to be a very, very tense fight right now. June so low, split from his team. CPX is going to try and back away any CC from a Nubrak. It's going to be thrown onto this Greymane, who's going down the... I think that's it.
Yeah, I think that's it. Simplicity, absolutely incredible. They get the 5 shots soon. CPX, one more delay. He gets rooted. X-Strike, it's not good enough. Phase shift blink into the root. There's a tranquility. That's gotta be it. Incredible by Simplicity.
No, it's not it. It's not it still, because CPX will stay alive. Cocoon onto June. They're so tired of June healing CPX. Wishing is going for the channel. Root from Tiger. June can't do anything about this. It's over, ladies and gentlemen. Not only does Simplicity find their first series victory, it's a 3-0. GG. Well played.
Those 3 sappers that June was trying to defend, he had to give them up because he was forced to phase shift in. And Simplicity knew it. Everything they did in the last 5 minutes was so good, was so measured. The forward for the XP close gap, leading into the triple altar, leading them to shoot the 10 cannonballs. Every single fight. So freaking good. Simplicity, get the 3-0. They needed it so much.
I wasn't really thinking that this would be as hype of a match as I thought, but dang, Justin, my expectations have been blown away. Simplicity on the road to, I mean, they're not going to punch their ticket to the land just yet, but they are potentially shifting their spots within our power rankings.
Yeah, they definitely are scaling up at the end of the season, which is when you need to do it with the gauntlet coming up. They wouldn't have been able to put themselves in a position to auto-qualify, so just playing as good as you can and getting this 3-0 is definitely the most important thing for Simplicity at the end of the season here, getting close to it. The last half of that game, post-level 16, was a completely different looking team for Simplicity. And I talked about that in the draft, that Pre-16, it should be Storm Esports being able to win out through the early game. And then once they get their talents with the percent damage at 16 from Hanzo and Thrall, that was really when things turned around for Simplicity. Before then, it feels nearly impossible to actually win fights against the tanky frontline of the Diablo and the Blaze, alongside the Brightwing with the percent healing. This was kind of part of the beginning of the end, where Lauber ends up going down here. He loses his souls. CPX will fall soon after. And you had this momentum shift where up until level 16, it was 36-14 in shots. Here you have Storm trying to trade on the top side of the map because they don't feel that they can get bottom, but they end up overextending. And Simplicity is going to rotate all the way up here and take care of them in the top side. You have the arrow from just off the map, max range arrow, keeping Lauber here for a very long time. Storm being punished for basically every single thing that they're trying to do on the map post level 16. Just a completely different looking game. Lupus on the Anubarak played really well, nearly perfectly on the hero. You had a lot of, here you have the phase out that unfortunately isn't in time. It still gets stunned up by Lupus on the Anub with the Impale. But Simplicity, and then here again, playing for the most aggressive play. If they got the bot shots in because Brightwing had to leave, they had 3 sappers in bottom, it was 13-7, and they got their own for 5 shots, and then they had to win this fight to get the last 5 shots to win the game. We saw that this was about the longest team fight ever. Watch how quickly Diablo dies too in this fight. He can't stand there at all with his Flame Breath going, slips with the scatter on the wall, makes it nearly impossible for Lauber to exist in this corridor. You have Brandon on the Blaze being pulled in, formerly unaverted, as CPX trying his best to get the resets with the level 20 X-Strike, but it's just not enough for him as his front line is dying far too quickly. And Maka, while he was playing aggressively on the Malfurion, ends up getting stuck a little bit alone. And again, you saw the Impale from Lupus, interrupting CPX mid-dash. Lupus had a phenomenal game on Anubarak, and it wasn't an easy game to be in Anub into the Greymane. Post-level 16, things got a little bit easier because his team could focus the front line, but to be able to survive and be able to do as well as he did on the Anubarak in particular was really impressive. But just the way that they went from 36-14 shots before they were level 16 to being able to only lose 7 shots and take the opponent down from 36-0, really, really impressive by Simplicity. Basically perfect shot calling and macro at the end in the second half of the game. They could have made the early game a little cleaner, but they were disadvantaged in the early game, and they really pulled it out when it mattered at the end. So really well played as Simplicity in the second half of that game.
I think Simplicity, like, that's such a great team. I have to be critical of Simplicity as an organization. How can you have Slips for so long and not play him earlier than this? Like, I gotta be critical, man. Like, Slips was so critical and such a key factor in so many team fights and so many AoE stuns with his Hanzo in the last 3 games in a row. How has he been sitting for so long on the sideline? Like, it actually kind of blows me away. Yeah.
He slipped their mind.
Thank you, Grubby.
Very good Hanzo play. He got it to play it 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
And I wonder who we're going to get for the interview. I'm looking forward to it. He was gotten 3 times in a row on Hanzo. Wishing forced into Malfurion after Brightwing stolen. Looks really good too.
Yeah. And that was what I was talking about. I had casted Wishing in the past, and I had seen him in Heroes Rise Contender Series, and he was on a variety of healers, but the one thing he actually played a lot of was the Malfurion. So really happy to see that, and glad we do get to see it in one of the games. But his Brightwing was absolutely outstanding. Right now, we have got a interview with one of the Simplicity players. I believe we have Porky on the line. We can bring him on in for our winner's interview. Porky, congratulations on your CCL victory, a 3-0 against Storm Esports. You gotta be feeling good.
Oh yeah, Baha. I'm feeling really good about this win.
Oh, well, we're happy for you. You guys played so very well. Your Blaze was great. Your Dahaka was on point. Overall, your team synergized super well. I gotta ask this acquisition came very, very late. Has this group been practicing before the roster change, or was this roster change, we got a couple days to scrim, and we're here performing like this?
I'll be honest, we literally didn't know that we were getting 2 of our players until Friday afternoon, and our first scrim was yesterday.
Okay, well, there's room to grow, but it was a really, really good series. Of course, Justin, any questions for Porky?
Yep, congratulations on your series win here. How has the process been of going from the beginning of the season to now? And I guess how relieved maybe do you feel to get this win? And I guess just, yeah, how has the process felt for you personally going through this I'm assuming roller coaster of emotions.
Yeah, it's been really rough for me personally. I do not like losing. It felt really bad trying to communicate with my team early in the season with the 4 Korean players. It's a lot better now because, well, we have 4 people that are fluent in English. Wishing understands a pretty good amount of English as well, so that also really helps our communication. So yeah, and this roster, I've played with a lot of these players before in NGS and HRCS, so I'm very used to playing with them. I know their pools. I can draft with them. You know how to macro, so it's a pretty easy trend.
Alrighty. Grubby, any questions for Porky?
Well, until now, Storm Esports hadn't lost a single match without taking a map win. So, in theory, if your revamped roster can do this, technically that makes you the #1 team in the league, no?
I guess technically, sure. We'll just have to see it on the gauntlet. Maybe we can reproduce what Simplicity did in Season 1.
I hope so for you. Your next match is going to be Oxygen. What are your thoughts and feelings about that?
Oxygen, I guess I've played with and against some of these people before. I coached Hasu and Yasu when I was coaching for 30K in Season 2. I know what they like. I hang out with Cascon and Cav a lot. I really respect Cascon as a drafter. I think he's the one that does their drafts. He's a really good drafter. A lot of the stuff, it just comes from left field. He does a lot of draft prep, so it's going to be hard going into that just from a draft standpoint.
Alrighty, well, you've got a week to prepare for your final best of 5 in the round robin to potentially move a little bit in the standings. Potentially, there's a lot of math back and forth on who wins, who loses, all that kind of stuff in between, but we'll see that next week, and we'll see Simplicity on June 25th. Until then, any shouts that you'd like to give, Porky?
Yeah, shout outs to all you guys for casting. Shout outs to the production team for making the smooth transitions. I'll shout out my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/ttporky. I'll probably be streaming after doing some NA Storm League. Shout outs to Slips. He played really well today. His Hanzo was absolutely insane. I'm just really happy he's getting a chance to play now. I've been advocating for him in HRCS. I advocated for him to get on our roster for Simplicity originally. I wanted him on the team now, and I'm really happy he's getting a chance to shine.
Well, you've got next weekend, and you have the gauntlet to prepare for as well. Porky, congratulations on your 3-0 victory up against Storm Esports. Good luck in your scrims, and have a wonderful night.
Yeah, thanks, you guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks for joining us. Well, Justin, Grubby, we've had a fantastic series today. We've had 2 fantastic series today. Before we jump to Justin, I want to get your thoughts on this. I want to get your thoughts on the closeout of the series. Any takeaways from this Storm Esports versus Simplicity, or even the day? Grubby, I want to start with you.
Yeah, it's just night and day, isn't it, with
Right.
Simplicity? And he's as happy as we expected him to be. And kind of did some rough maths. It's nothing 100% scientific that Simplicity needed 2-3 zeros, but I didn't actually expect them to go and do it. For me, that's theme #1 of the day. Really happy for them. As for Storm, they've got some work to do. They finally didn't get a map win per best of 5. Must be a shocker for them. It is a different roster, but I bet they were hoping to at least be top 6, and now that's not sure anymore.
I got a long way to climb. Justin, any takeaways from the last series or today?
Yep, Grubby definitely said it well with Simplicity. They look completely different, totally new, just reinvigorated roster. And I'd say the Oxygen was the most impressive for me of this whole weekend overall. Seeing 30K looking a little bit shaky, although they did still win over Chili Mountain, but Chili Mountain also not looking maybe quite as strong as they have in the past. Oxygen is looking to me to be the top contender alongside Wildheart for second place as we get into the end of the season. That's kind of what is looking to be the strongest teams for me and for the fight for second place. And the fight for second and third place is going to be really intense though still between Chili Mountain, Oxygen, and Wildheart. So at the end of the season, it's going to be really important the next week. Even last week's matches, it's cool to see those matches mean so much for the standings still. Sometimes you can get to the end of a league and have it not matter so much at the end, but that definitely won't be the case this time. So really exciting to see next week's matches.
Yeah, we'll take a look at the league standings in a little bit because we have to get into everyone's favorite segment of the day. We have got Justin's Superior Tuna clip, brought to you in part by Wisdom Gaming. Can you break it down for us, Justin? What is your clip of the day?
My Superior Tuna clip of the day is between Diamond Hands and Oxygen on Cursed Hollow. So we can go ahead and get into that. It's the final team fight, where you have Diamond Hands having the Siege Giants pushing in bottom. They feel desperate for any fight they can get, so they try forcing the boss, but realize that's not going to work. Oxygen playing the game of cat and mouse. They're the mouse in the situation, but the mouse bites back and gets the turn fight onto the Rhaegar, instantly blowing up 2 members that they thought, Diamond Hands thought they were going to get a good engage there, but they absolutely were not, as Oxygen was very ready. You have Yasu with the Twilight Dream as well, just one-shotting 2 members instantly. Heavy, once again, was unable to get the Ancestral off. You have a 4-for-0 ace when you had the Dragon Pretzel from Hasu already ready. That was the fight that ended the game, and the important thing to note is that the team fight seemed really one-sided, but it was one-sided because Diamond Hands had to take the fight, no matter what. They were in a lose-lose situation. Boss would have ended, Siege Giant's bottom would have ended, and that's how you win the game, by setting up your team fight with proper macro when you're ahead.
Thank you very much, Justin, for the breakdown on that clip, as always. And now, let's go ahead, as I alluded to earlier, check out the league standings, because those have shifted here at the end of week number 6. And Grubby, you've always got the rough math. I'm not going to say like, oh yes, everything Grubby says is correct and is accurate, because we all make mistakes. But Grubby, you've got a very good idea as to how things could shift around. If you could you break down the league standings and maybe some shifting that could happen in week number 7?
Yeah, for sure. So Wildheart is playing against Storm, who is 1-5, and Oxygen is playing against Simplicity, who is also 1-5. So we've got 2 4-2 teams going up against 2 1-5 teams. It's so interesting because all 4 of those teams can 100% influence their standing by 1 or even 2 ranks. I mean, we're talking about being able to go to LAN off of this final match. Oxygen wins, Wildheart loses. That's Oxygen guaranteed to go to LAN. If both Oxygen and Wildheart win with a similar score, Wildheart is going to LAN and Oxygen may not because of the map differential. You can see how they're grouped by their map score, even if we're not showing that in this screen. Chili Mountain will go up against Diamond Hands. Chili Mountain's 4-2, Diamond Hands is 3-3. If Diamond Hands wins 3-0, they go up in their map differential. They start equalizing the score with Chili Mountain. And what is the map differential difference between Chili Mountain and Diamond Hands? It's 6 points. A 3-0 for Diamond Hands would actually equalize their map differential. And Diamond Hands would have the direct victory over Chili Mountain with that 3-0, which also counts. So Diamond Hands would overtake Chili Mountain. If Oxygen loses 0-3, only then will they also be below Diamond Hands. So for Diamond Hands to make it to auto-qualify to LAN, there needs to be a 3-0 for Diamond Hands to win against Chili, and Oxygen needs to lose 3-0 as well against the new roster of Simplicity, who just did a 3-0. So it is possible for Diamond Hands, but it certainly won't be easy. I hope you're getting a sense, not of all the facts I laid out, but at the very least that every match and even map score matters so much going into the next weekend.
We have a final weekend of games. Also, just really quickly to note, 30K has punched their ticket. They are guaranteed to go to the LAN because they have a solid 14 map gain over the closest, which is Wildheart right now with a +6. But let's go ahead and, Justin, take a look at the Saturday and Sunday matchups for June 25th and 26th.
I appreciate Grubby doing all that math. I would not have attempted it, but we've got the matchup of Wildheart versus Storm in our first match, which, as Grubby alluded to, will be extremely important for Wildheart. They're currently fighting for 2nd and 3rd place, and the next match would be Oxygen against Simplicity, which, as Grubby mentioned, with a 3-0 for Simplicity, that can really change the standings for the rest of the teams in contention for 2nd and 3rd place. So both of those matches are going to have a huge impact on the overall standings.
And then on Sunday, we're going to see 2 more best of 5s. Our final 2 best of 5s on June 26th will be 30K up against Granite Gaming and Diamond Hands up against Chili Mountain. I'm really excited about next week. Everything really comes down to our matchups next weekend. It has been extremely fun this weekend in HeroesCCL, and I mean, I always like to ask this. What's Justin? What's your takeaway from the entire weekend? Any thoughts or like, hey, ban slips as Hanzo? Because that's definitely my takeaway for anyone that has to go up against Simplicity, specifically Oxygen.
That's definitely a thought. Brightwing in particular has shown quite a bit of priority this weekend. She seems to be nearly in a tier of her own alongside Lucio in the support. And it feels like if a team doesn't get one of the S tier supports right now, they really struggle. So there's a lot of, I guess, draft theory that can still be looked at for all these teams. Also, getting into the last weeks, we might start seeing some more cheesy, more pocket picks. We haven't seen much stuff like Medivh. We were seeing Sergeant Hammer popping up in the second half of the season now, and Sergeant Hammer has become a bit more meta. But things like Medivh haven't been seen very much. Things like Vikings we haven't seen a lot of. Even things like the Uther with double support. None of these things are really showing up too much. But I think that next week, when things really, really matter, when teams' backs are against the wall in the standings, that'll be when we'll start to see some weird, crazy, cheesy strategies starting to be revealed next week.
Oh, I'm excited about that one. Grubby, any takeaways from the weekend?
Yeah, you can't afford to save those secret weapons that maybe you envisioned for LAN when it all comes down to it. And it does come down to it. For every single team outside of 30k, nobody's guaranteed for LAN yet. There's 4 teams vying for 2 guaranteed spots. And after that, it's all down to the Crucible / Gauntlet / Ladder Bracket / Playoff / Knockout. It's a bloodbath. Rank 8 meets rank 7, meets rank 6, meets rank 5, and then 4. That's what is happening. And next weekend will decide it all.
Yep.
Oxygen need a victory, but they're against the hardest team next weekend in 30k. So, yeah, we had some amazing games this weekend. We even had our very first Asmodan. Didn't win, but maybe next weekend we'll see it in a better constellation. This weekend was very satisfying. I even think we reached our peak viewership as well across the channel. So that is pretty nice and solid. Applause to yourself. Let's try to beat it next weekend by even more.
Yeah, everyone, make sure that you tell your sister, brother, grandparents, father, anyone. Just tell anyone about it. Like, if you go, you're sitting at the office and you're hanging around the water cooler because that's what normal people do in the office. You want to start talking about HeroesCCL starting at 11 a.m. PDT, 2 o'clock EDT, and 20 CEST on Saturday, June 25th and 26th. We really do appreciate all the support. We broke $12,000. We got some Springy on stream. It's been a fantastic weekend of games. We actually had a lot of friendly furry friends on stream. We actually had Logan excited as well during some of the games yesterday. But of course, that is going to be our broadcast today. From the Wisdom family, from Justin, Grubby, myself, happy Father's Day. Thank you all so much for watching HeroesCCL. We'll be back on June 25th and 26th for those 4 best of 5s. Until then, stay safe, drink some water, and we'll see you in the Nexus. Good night.